What's up, movie fans and Netflix bingers? This is the Bros Who Binge podcast, our 100th episode. So much behind it because it is exciting. Lynden, how are you doing? My buddy Lynden Burton always joining me. We've been doing this for 100 episodes, and we got a big episode for you guys today.
It's vengeance, or I'm vengeance. But no, man, still hype off that Batman stuff last week. But 100 episodes. Thank you, the viewer, the fan. Thank you, fellow binger. Thank you, everybody who's in this bingers community. We love you, love you, love you, love you. 100 episodes talking movies and TVs with my guy, Shuby. This has been amazing. Not only that, we have, and funny enough, I didn't even realize it was the 100th, but we got like some good shit planned today. We got an amazing PitchIt match. Movies are back, funny enough.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, it's very fitting that this is the 100th episode, and we both got back into the theater for the first time.
Some may say we're crazy. So, like, some may say like we're wilding, but and to them they may
we're
be
committed.
Right. And it's just like, to me, I'm just gonna say this one time, just so I don't feel guilty, because I was thinking all the time leading up to this podcast, how am I gonna communicate this? But I've determined that it's just like, look. If you're going out to eat, you can't tell me shit about going to the movies. Like, there are people who go to the restaurants daily. I stay in my house majority of the day. The only time I leave out of my house is to maybe pick up takeout if I'm not cooking. Other than that, I'm at my house. And when I went to the movies, I felt safe. It was clean. I had hand sanitizer. No one was around me. So, like, look, what you gonna do? I gotta go see movies. Funny enough, the 100th episode, it's karma. It's ironic. Let me not say karma. It's ironic that the first movie back is New Mutants and not Tenet. Like, that's what's ironic about it. But funny enough, we will be reviewing Tenet next week. But yeah. Man, we had to.
People in this pandemic situation have to be the first ones to kind of take the chance. And so we wanted to take the chance because we know that everyone's going to want to get out for Tenet. We're here to tell you that if you should consider thinking about going back in the theater, because they are taking every precaution they can to be able to make it a safe experience. And for us, we both had two experiences that seemed like it was back to normal with the movies, and it felt nice to be back in the theater.
Like, it was just me by myself sitting there. You had people in yours, but I
pretty
was by
spaced
myself.
Out. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have anyone around me, and like I never really was in close contact with anybody. I wore the mask the whole time.
Ooh, that's a difference in my. That's a difference in my.
You didn't have anyone in there. You didn't have anyone in there.
But see, I asked. No, wait. Let me tell you, because see, this is interesting. I asked. Because when I walked in, I was like glad to have everybody back because they know me. Like, you gotta understand. Before this pandemic, me and Schubert were going to see movies every week. Those people know me at the
Sometimes twice a week.
Sometimes twice a week, exactly. So when I walked in, I was like, glad to see everybody back. They were like, glad to have you back, blah, blah, blah. And so I asked the manager, I was like, yo, bro, do I have to wear a mask? Like, because I don't mind wearing a mask. Do I have to wear a mask when I'm sitting down watching the movie? He was like, no, you can take it off. But if you leave, you have to put it back on. And I was like, so the whole time I'm watching the movie, you don't have to wear it. He's like, yeah, you don't. I was like,
that was the same protocol for that. And that's probably just a preference thing. Because for me, like, knowing that there were still people in there and knowing like that, being indoors with people is where it gets a little bit more scary. I felt more comfortable just wearing it the whole time because it doesn't bother me that much to do so. Of course, I'd take it off to like eat snacks or take a sip of a drink, but like I'd rather just like wear it.
I don't blame you. Look, if they had people in mind, I'd have probably wore it too, just to keep it a bean. But. Yeah. Also, if you try to go to the movies, go at a time where you don't think other people are gonna go. Like, pick the most. Pick the most inconvenient time. Oh, what day was it?
Today, with Sunday.
But see, 3 on a Sunday. I went at 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock on a either a Friday or a Saturday, whatever day that. I think that was yesterday. I think it was
weekday would probably be better.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You go at like 2 o'clock, you be good. But see, Tenet, man, I'm trying to go see that on Wednesday. But the thing is, it's only at 7 o'clock, and that's a prime time hour. And it's like, oof, I don't know if I'm waiting until Thursday.
I got a showing at 4. It's a little bit farther than the theater that I usually go to, but I'm like, I'd rather hit up a 4 o'clock than wait until the night.
I might have to try to find another, like, because there's 3 theaters around me. I'm going to try to find the earliest one. But glad movies are back, man. 100th episode. We got a dope PitchIt match between myself and Shamit Dua to see who plays Charles Reese in the conference finals. Should we give us, because I'm not going to say anything, give us your thoughts on the match without spoiling anything. What should they look forward to at the end of the show?
I think in this PitchIt match, you get some really unique takes on pitches, and then in Lynden's side, where we had Jake do his take on like how to knock down an opponent, Lynden does his take on how to knock down an opponent. So if you're a student of the PitchIt game trying to figure out what's the best way to go about making some pitches, we've seen Jake's approach, and now this week you'll see Lynden's approach. And, I just think that from both sides, we got a lot of really unique pitches that some of them were way out of the box that I wouldn't have thought of.
It was a crazy match, man. Like it was a match. I want to say this without spoiling anything. This match lived up to last week's match.
Sure.
If I'm being a critic of ourselves, if I'm self-scouting ourselves, I'd say the last 2 matches we've had have arguably been some of the best matches. I think all competitors are starting to understand the arena. I think all competitors are starting to like find their footing, and I think like we're in for an amazing conference finals and finals because Jake has to win twice.
Yeah,
Jake has to win twice. So if Charles are the winner of me and Shamit lose to Jake twice, we deserve to get our asses beat.
That's fair.
Like that's how I feel about it, and I know Shamit feels the same way. We've talked about that, and so like it's just like y'all be on the lookout to see who wins that at the end of this match, and then we're gonna do our review after that. Crazy Lovecraft episode this week.
A crazy Lovecraft episode, and also shout out to our boy Ian who comes back on to judge. It's good to have him on there. And, we'll plug it again at the end, but we also did earlier in the week a review of Goodfellas for a Run It Back episode on the Bros Who Think, us and Ian, and it was a pretty fun one. So it was good to get back into it. A lot of people who listen to the podcast and people who are just now kind of getting on board now that we've been doing the video have really expressed interest in us reviewing older movies, and I promise we'll be doing it again soon.
Oh yeah, Run It Back is here to stay. I love that fucking show. It just gives us reason to review some of the greatest movies of all time. And look, the polls. By the time you guys hear this, I was waiting on the polls because I'm trying to we still got Run It Back Goodfellas like still hot on the press, like never rat your friends.
And I don't think like the next one we're doing Run It Back. Yeah, the next Run It Back isn't live action, or is it?
No, we're gonna. It doesn't matter for us. Like the anime one's gonna drop, but like us, I'm thinking about dropping the poll probably by the time you guys hear this, if not the next day. But we're gonna do a poll for the Quentin Tarantino movie. That announcement. We're doing a Quentin Tarantino movie for the next Run It Back. So we're gonna have a poll between like Pulp Fiction, Django. Might throw in Jackie Brown as a curveball.
Inglourious Bastards.
Maybe, yeah. But see, that one. I feel like Goodfellas was such a talky film that I'm looking for something with a little more, a little more.
Well, then don't put Jackie Brown in there because
you're right. I don't know. I gotta see what we're gonna throw in there. But the people will pick it, and we'll do what you guys want us to do because y'all are the community, and we do this for you guys. But yeah, man, whenever you're ready, we can get into this episode. We got a lot to cover this week, so.
All right, I'm ready to get this 100th episode started, so let's go. All right, Lynden, we're starting the show off a little bit in a solemn way because it's we don't usually address actor deaths on the show, huge. But this one was kind of unexpected and huge and really kind of makes waves in the movie community. But Chadwick Boseman passed away at 43 to colon cancer. He's been fighting for 4 years without the public knowledge.
Not just the public. Ryan Coogler didn't know. His Marvel cast didn't know. I don't think Kevin Feige. Well, See, that'll be interesting. Kevin Feige might have known, but I don't think so. I don't think nobody knew.
So.
I don't think anybody knew. But before we get into any of that, because I definitely want to discuss that, let's just take a moment of silence for Chadwick Boseman. Again, rest in peace to the king. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Man,
the timing of it also with where we are in the world and like what it does for the Black community, it just kind of came at like the most inopportune time.
It's a sad time, man. Like, we lost the Black Mamba and the Black Panther in the same year. Shit is just nuts. 2020, wild year. But look, I'm gonna look at this as this dude was a hero. Like, not even in the sense of him being Black Panther. No, the fact that he had battled colon cancer and didn't tell anybody and was just kicking ass doing movies. And it's crazy because me and my girlfriend would always look, and whenever he was doing a new movie and shit, and look at the photos that were released, I was always like, man, he's losing a lot of weight. And I was like, why is he losing weight? And like, then when this happens, we're like, fuck, that's why. And it's just crazy. He battled this by himself, him and his wife and his family. And I just applaud the man's strength. Like, can't take anything away from that. Like, what he did is just pure strength.
I mean, he never really let up when it came to doing films. He kept to his Marvel films going.
To be battling colon cancer while trying to look like the Black Panther and accomplishing looking like the Black Panther, that's fucking nuts. That's fucking
crazy.
Nuts.
And, not only did he do that, he did like the Five Bloods. I mean, he had to be like an army person and do all that action scenes, battling colon cancer. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But,
I think he did Selma too. And then like,
Selma.
And there was another movie he did. Oh, the Russo brothers film. The fucking, where he was a cop.
Oh, yeah.
That shit was actiony. Yo, Chadwick, bro. Crazy. Rest in peace to the god. Like,
But yeah, I mean, he played some big time characters like Black Panther, Thurgood Marshall, Jackie Robinson.
Fucking what's his name? Not the king of pop and soul before Michael Jackson.
James Brown.
James Brown. Like, he played so many iconic roles. Just got to give the man his props, and we will miss him. We'll miss his talent. He was, funny enough, it took and crazy that it took his death for me to realize this, but like, that's a name we probably should have said in our list.
I was thinking about that too.
Even though, like, granted, our I guess our rubric or criteria was we were looking for people between the ages of like 20 and 39.
And yeah, he was in his 40s.
Chadwick was in his 40s, but he was one of those late bloomers.
Sure, and I mean, he was already getting in films that were being, acclaimed for Oscars. Black Panther even was an Oscar-nominated film. So
he had a film that I was super excited for. The Yasuke or the Yasuke or Yasuye one, I forget the name of it, but the black samurai who was in Japan, like the African slave who escaped to Japan and became the first black samurai. That's a movie that's coming, and that was supposed to be his movie. And it's great. I'm interested to see who replaces him, but like, that was something I was looking forward to.
In honor of his memory, now we're not going to dive too deep into who's going to fill the space that he's now opened up, but I think that there will be people who, or directions that they follow to try and fill in the roles that he was supposed to play in the future, because that's the thing, like, it came so unexpected. I mean, he was signing on to do more movies. It was just like, it's just crazy. It was one of those things where I saw the initial story on like Facebook or something, and you can never trust what you see on Facebook. Yeah. And so I had to like look it up again. I was like, no way.
Yeah, well, my girlfriend said it, and I was like, huh? What are you talking about over there? Like, because see, when news in my house, it's like she tries to tell me the news before like I get it, because obviously from what we do, I'm always like, yo, you heard about this? And she always feels that like she's late, and she's like, haha, I know this before you, and that's like a little game we play. And so she was like, yeah, this happened. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, sometimes when she tells me stuff, I'm like, are we sure? Are we sure that happened? But like this one, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? This is crazy. But again, rest in peace to the guy, man. Your memory will live on for forever for what you've done, not only for the black community, but movie fans in general. You brought iconic characters to screen, and then just the strength behind it. It will be remembered forever. So again, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Sad, sad times.
All right, well, moving into our news stories for the week. The first thing I have is, of course, to try and start with a little bit of Star Wars. The one joke I made this week was there, discussing films. Twitter put up like that Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader were going to appear in the Obi-Wan thing. So of course I put up the Spider-Man looking at each other like, wait, what? But the other big name that's been rumored to appear in the Kenobi series is General Kenobi's #1 clone, Commander Cody. So I'm wondering how that's all going to work out. I'm assuming maybe in a flashback because like I can't imagine that Commander Cody's still alive.
And if he is, like, isn't he suffering like Order 66?
Well, he would be in the Empire, which they could easily do. And it would be an interesting way to look at how the clones transition to the Empire, because that is a whole deal with it, because like they started and then of course a lot of them phased out, and there were different Moffs or generals in the Empire who were like, well, I don't want clones, I want normal people. Yeah. So like that could be an interesting thing to touch into, but this is the Kenobi series, so who really cares about what stormtroopers are doing?
Yeah.
But interesting to see that Commander Cody might get a piece in the Kenobi series.
Look, building out the world, building out the lore, interesting stuff. This is for the hardcore Star Wars fans, but good for Commander Cody coming through.
We will be getting Mandalorian trailer soon, though.
And Dune trailer. Look, we're gonna get the teaser when we go see Tenet, and the full trailer drops September 9th. I'm hype. I am hype. I've seen leaks. Honestly, almost got to see the leaked teaser today, but right when I was going to watch it, Twitter took that shit down for copyright infringement. Warner Brothers was like, no way. I'm sure I could find it on the internet if I really tried hard enough.
You gotta do a deep dive.
Yeah, it's out there. But yeah, I'm excited for those two trailers. But what we got next?
Right. The next story I have is more, I don't know if you're excited about it, but it's something that I'm really excited about, because out of all horror movies, Scream franchise is my favorite of the horror franchises. And they have announced that they're going to release the next Scream reboot January 4th, 2022. Very far away, but it's nice that they have it locked in. Courtney Cox is going to reprise her role as news reporter Gail Weathers, and David Arquette will return to play Sheriff Dewey Riley. Spyglass Media Group and Paramount have said the filming is expected to begin later this year in Wilmington, North Carolina. And Ready or Not directors Matthew Benatelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett are helming the reboot, with a script James Vanderbilt and Guy Bissek have wrote. So I saw Ready or Not recently, and I like Ready or Not. It's a pretty good horror comedy, and that's exactly what Scream is a horror comedy, and I feel like they're going to be able to put an interesting take to it. But the word reboot is what's kind of interesting to me.
Well, what I heard from it's funny that you had this story, because I was reading some of Daniel RPK stuff on his Patreon, and some of the stuff just I've been hearing through the grapevine is that this movie's doing the Halloween thing where all the past history is erased, and this is taking place after a certain movie. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that.
Now I got to see like more information on which movie they're coming off, because the Scream franchise unlike Halloween, was solid. Like all the movies that followed it, like the most recent Scream, I think it was Scream 4 that came out when we were in high school, was a good movie. It was really good.
I didn't dislike it, but it's definitely doing that. Now I don't know which Scream it's. I want to say 2. I want to say it's coming to everything after 2, but I don't know. We'll find out more information on that. But I'm pretty sure it's doing that. Like I'm 85% sure.
It's still far out, but I'm excited to get Scream back, because man, do I love a good Scream movie.
We're in a horror vibe right now, man. It's interesting. Some of the content we've been consuming has been a lot of horror vibes, but good on Scream. Next up, Ezra Miller's Flash has some news. It's adapting the Flashpoint comics, but doing it in its own way. But, however, it said that Eobard Thawne's Reverse Flash won't be the main antagonist of the next movie, leaving room for another guy to be the primary villain. That's not saying that he won't be in the movie, which I believe he will be. It's just he won't be the main antagonist. So the question is, will he be kind of the guy behind the scenes pulling the strings, and then we see him come in like a movie 2, movie
Flash
3, 2. Something like that? Where
I think that's probably what it's going to be like. He'll probably be like something that is behind the scenes, because you can't really have like a timeline arc without a fellow speedster doing, working in the Speed Force. So like I don't understand like how you can include Reverse Flash. I can see where maybe they were not going to make him the primary villain. They'll probably create whatever the hell they want to do. But
that blows my mind, because it's like you're not gonna, if you don't do him, the go-to thing in a comic book fan's mind is to go to the Rogues Gallery. But because it's a timeline movie and we're going to see Michael Keaton's Batman, we're going to see all these different Earths in this multiverse, none of the rogues fit in that. Like, the only one, maybe Mirror Master through the mirror dimension. Like, but that's like stretching it. That's like me stretching the envelope as far as I can stretch it. So this tells me that, like, the movie might not be focused around a villain. The movie might be focused around, like, events.
Flash becoming Flash.
And, like, it's different vignettes of him going to these different Earths, fighting these different outcomes or these instances. I don't know. This is mind-boggling to me. But like,
yeah, like that's when they said no Aquaman, Wonder Woman war, I was like, okay,
that
no
makes
Thomas
sense.
Wayne, okay, but no Reverse Flash as your main villain for a Flashpoint movie. Like, it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, but
I don't know where you go. So, like, it's interesting. This is going to be some original stuff. Like, is he going to fight Batman goons? Like, is this going to be him fighting Michael Keaton Batman goons the whole time? Like, what's going down? But see, to me, that just tells me he's going to be just going to different Earths, encountering different shit, or he's dealing with a different timeline to where.
Do they create another speedster?
Maybe you can see a Godspeed, maybe see like a Red Death, but like all of that's too, like, to me, none of that stuff happens until the instance of the meeting between him and Eobard Thawne, and then the kickstart of their violent onslaught, which sends shockwaves to the Speed Force, thus creating all these new people. So it's like, I don't know. I have no answer.
But
right
like
now.
you said, since they're not making him the primary villain, I have a feeling that he's going to be in it in some capacity. So like that's what I'm thinking. That's where I'm thinking, like, maybe he gets very generated into the Speed Force, and then beyond that, there's like some other force out there. Because what I remember from the TV series, and you can't really base anything on the TV series, but there was some other people that were dealing with the whole time thing that were almost like overseers. And it's kind of like, what you see with like the Legends, where like there's like a time thing, like a commission, like the Umbrella Academy. So like maybe that's something that they do. Like there's ways that you can approach it, and it is a part of the Flash TV universe. So maybe that they throw something in there like that we've seen on that. I mean, the rumors are that Barry Allen would show up in the movie anyway.
To me, I think it's going to be something like he's going back to save his mom. He sees Reverse Flash, but it's like something to where we don't like see him, or like we see him in some capacity, and then thus Barry goes to chase him, but going into that chase, he gets knocked around into the Speed Force, pops up into a different multiverse, or pops up into a different universe or whatever, and then goes about his adventure, and then we don't see that guy again until the end of the movie, and it's like, oh, I'll deal with him next time. That's the only way I can make sense of that, but we shall see. Hopefully Andy Muschietti and Ezra Miller deliver, but very interesting news coming out of the Flash camp. Next up, Netflix has confirmed on Thursday that they're putting out live-action series inspired by high popular gaming movie series Resident Evil. The 8-episode drama series will be written by executive producer, showrunner of Supernatural, Andrew Dabb. Hopefully they follow the video game more than the movies did. That's all I got to say about that, because if they don't, that shit's just going to be Mila Jovovich Part 2. That was just the Mila Jovovich show over there. That shit was asshole. Like,
now,
straight
I think
dumpster juice.
Now, I think approaching Resident Evil as a Netflix television series, and if they take it in ways like they did like The Witcher, maybe it's successful. But I think even gaming fans of The Witcher know that like it didn't completely meet all of their criteria. When I see that the showrunner is Supernatural's Andrew Dabb, like Supernatural is already a little suspect in my opinion, but it was one of the longest running television shows in TV history.
Super suspect in my opinion.
But like I've tried to watch Supernatural a number of times and have not been able to get through it. So like I just don't know if like this is just going to be like another thing you roll your eyes at.
It might be, and look, when I think of every time I get the urge to watch Supernatural, I'm just like, I might as well watch Lucifer if I'm doing that, because that's a better show. Like, might as well.
I like Lucifer.
Yeah, Lucifer, pretty good show. But no, look, man, hopefully Netflix gets this right, but I don't have high expectations for this. If I'm calling a spade. Don't have high expectations.
But it could be really, really great because the Resident Evil as a game is really solid.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazon is putting into development Highfire, a TV series based on an adult thriller novel by best-selling Artemis Fowl author Ian Colfer, with Nicolas Cage voicing the lead character and executive producing. The book, described as True Detective meets Pete's Dragon, is being adapted for television by Davey Holmes, creator and executive producer of Epic's Get Shorty TV series. The genre-bending live-action Highfire is a gritty crime thriller with doses of magical realism. Its central character, Highfire, voiced by Cage, is a vodka-drinking, flash dance-loving dragon who lives in an isolated existence in the bayous of Louisiana.
What an interesting, a dragon solving mysteries. What are we doing, Nick? What is Nicolas Cage doing? But the thing that gives me hope for this is that it's Amazon. That's the only thing that gives me hope for this, is that it's Amazon.
Like, when I first saw this, I was like, what the hell is this? And then I saw Amazon's doing it. I'm like, well, maybe it's going to be good. Like,
I don't know.
It sounds like a very interesting concept. It kind of makes me want to read Highfire as like a book, just so I can.
And I like Ian Colfer's work. Like, I like Artemis Fowl. So I
didn't really like the movie.
No. Wait. When I say I like Ian Colfer's work, I'm talking about the books. Like, don't do that. I'm talking about the books. I'm not talking about that trash ass Disney Plus movie. But this, maybe they stay true to the book that he wrote. Maybe it's good. I'm gonna give it a shot. But like, interesting things Nicolas Cage is doing these days.
It's making me think it's like almost like a live action Onward, but gritty. Like, where like Onward was like a magical realism, but
this could be in that same vein. But a dragon,
interesting, and
a dragon solving crimes.
And I feel like Cage really is trying to like have his own Cage-assance, trying to like do things that are going to be better for like his legacy. So like maybe this is something that really kind of goes well. Amazon is the only reason I trust this.
Yeah, same. That's the only thing that made me, when I saw this in the notes, I'm like, huh? But then I saw the word Amazon and I was like, all right, maybe.
So if anyone knows more about the book, maybe they could tell us about and get us more excited about it. But I think it's a very interesting story and worth noting this week. But
for sure.
Speaking of Nick Cage, he has been talking about doing a Joe Exotic TV series or a TV movie or whatever. But the limited series currently entitled Joe Exotic, that's going to star Kate McKinnon as Carol Baskin, is now going to be pushed forward to set on air on NBC, Peacock, and the USA Network.
Ooh, okay, cool. I don't have to get
Frankel, Eton Frankel, who did Friday Night Lights and Shameless, worked on those series, has boarded the project as writer and executive producer. So I think they're putting some power behind this. Seeing that they want to put it not only on Peacock but on USA Network and NBC makes me a little bit more excited that they're going to do the better adaptation of this. But my whole thing with the Kate McKinnon casting as Carol Baskin is like, how serious is this going to be?
Yeah, and like, are we following Carol Baskin? Like, when I don't know who Joe Exotic is to this day, it's like, who are we following? Whose show is this about? Like, is Kate McKinnon holding the sway with Carol Baskin's character, or is this like following Joe Exotic titles out?
But as we went through the documentary series, I think that Carol Baskin is just as big a role in the whole thing
for sure.
as Joe Exotic. And in some ways, you want to know more about Carol Baskin. The one thing that I think is interesting that I've heard about Carol Baskin that kind of goes away from the story is that I think there's a rumor going around that she's been approached to be on Dancing with the Stars.
What?
And that would be wild.
Florida just reopened the case. Like, wait. They just reopened the murder case. How are you going to put her on Dancing with the Stars? Yo. Nah, bro. Nah. All my homies hate Carol Baskin. F Carol Baskin. That's the wave.
That's the wave.
All my homies hate Carol Baskin. Just like all my homies hate, if you know Tower of God, fuck Rachel. All my homies hate Rachel. It's fuck Carol Baskin. All my homies hate Carol Baskin. Nah, bro. Nah. Yeah. Dancing with the Stars.
But I will say,
go ahead.
I will watch the series. But what were you gonna say about that?
I was just saying. Also, it's funny enough that you mentioned something that's going on now. Did you know the VMAs were tonight? Like on the night we were recording. And I saw like people doing like virtual performances and shit, like The Weeknd and whatnot. I didn't watch it, but like, do the VMAs still matter?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Now that we're in an era where you can literally watch anybody do anything, and I feel like, you know, with the festival circuit, some big acts are more accessible. Like I felt like when we were younger, watching the VMAs was like one of the only times you got to see like Beyonce do a performance, because like you're not gonna go see her in concert or anything like that.
It's too expensive. Yeah, no, for sure. It's different now, man. I was just interested because I saw the VMAs going on right now. But next up, we got Disney is conjuring up a new Haunted Mansion live-action movie based on its 51-year-old Disneyland theme park ride, with Ghostbusters writer Kate Diepold attached. Producers are Dan Lin and Jonathan Eric. Through their Ride Back banner, Lin has extensive producer experience with Sherlock Holmes, If, and the Lego franchises. He and Eric team up for this Disney live-action Aladdin movie last year. Schubert, are you excited for the Haunted Mansion?
No.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I read it like that.
And to clarify, that it's not the Ghostbusters that's coming soon with Finn Wolfhard. It's the Ghostbusters.
That was trash.
That was trash.
Yeah.
So not too excited about this film. I thought that the Eddie Murphy one, they should have just left it at that.
That movie was trash too.
It was trash, but I mean, like, cool. Why are we trying to bring Haunted Mansion? The only way that I'd be interested in Haunted Mansion is if you made it gritty, and there's no way that Disney's gonna do that.
Nope, because it's gonna match their ride. So you already know how that is. Next up, we got Netflix. This is sad times at Ridgemont High. Sad times. Netflix cancels Altered Carbon. Man, they had so much promise. They just didn't put enough money and enough oomph into the second season. Second season wasn't as good. I liked Anthony Mackie though as Takashi Kovacs, but like it just didn't have the same amount of oomph that the first season had. I like the anime series. Hopefully they continue it in maybe anime form.
I think that's probably where they're gonna lean to.
And it fits better that way because they're allowed there. They can do more with like it. Hopefully they go to do some 2D animation and get out of that 3D vein, unless they do it more like Dorohedoro, and I'll appreciate it more. But like, sad times at Ridgemont High. I was a big Altered Carbon fan. If anything, Altered Carbon should teach you how to do Cowboy Bebop. Learn from its mistakes.
I think like shows that come upcoming like Cowboy Bebop and the Resident Evil we mentioned before are the reasons that something like Altered Carbon is
getting canceled. Canceled. I'd much rather them put the Altered Carbon budget into Cowboy Bebop instead of another Altered Carbon season, because Altered Carbon kind of is like a Cowboy Bebop type Ghost in the Shell type show. So you know how that is. It had its own story, but like I dug it. Good. Like I said, bring it to the anime world, and all will be right in the world.
Moving along, the next story we have is
this one's trash.
The Powerpuffs could soon fly again.
This is trash.
The rumor is that a live-action version of the classic Cartoon Network series is in development at the CW.
Super trash. Y'all already know.
In the updated version of this series, the titular superheroes are now disillusioned 20-somethings who resent having lost their childhood to crime fighting. Will they agree to reunite now that the world needs them more than ever?
Yo, maybe you could maybe get me to buy this if this was like Netflix or Amazon. But CW, this is about to be melodramatic as fuck. Oh, this is just heartbreaking. You guys already know, if you've been a Bros Who Binge listener for a while now, you know how me and Schubert feel about the CW. But if you're new to us, we do not fuck with the CW. I stopped watching Arrow after season 5. Like, I haven't watched Flash since season 2. Legends I haven't watched since season 1. And Supergirl was booty from the jump. I don't watch Batwoman, and Supergirl can and Stargirl can suck a wang. Like,
honestly, like some of the other shows that have been on there, like Riverdale. Riverdale was a show that actually had a solid opening.
But then it became CW.
Again, came way too melodramatic and weird. Stargirl's getting messed up by it. So All American you liked for a little while. But
I liked for a little while, but then it just became super melodramatic in the second season. And what else did CW produce? I'm trying to think of some of the other shows. iZombie was all right for a little bit. Like, it's just, you know what you're getting from this network.
CW hasn't been good since One Tree Hill.
And even then, when you rewatch One Tree Hill, the later seasons are not as good as the earlier seasons.
Are trash.
Because they become too melodramatic, and it's like CW just bites itself in the foot every time. But maybe this will be like Charmed for a new generation. Maybe people will fuck with this, but you're not gonna get the nostalgia of the fans who grew up on this. This has to be trying to appeal to a new base, a new audience, because like.
I mean, it's just crazy because, like, no one ever wondered what the Powerpuff Girls were like.
Is Mojo Jojo going to be in this? Like, let's have a real conversation. Is Mojo Jojo going to be in this? Is him going to be in this? Is Fuzzy
and are they going to be old people?
Is Fuzzy fucking Lumpkin going to be in this? Is Sarah Bellum, like, what is this show going to consist of for me to watch this? Because they're 20 years old. Okay, cool. Are they fighting monsters still? Like, are monsters still attacking Townsville? How is CW going to have the budget to show monsters? How is CW going to have the budget to show a Mojo Jojo and a him? Like, how am I going to buy these things is what I'm asking. Like, is the Gang Green Gang going to be there?
I mean, I'm thinking there's going to be, like, a whole episode where, like, Blossom is dating this guy, and Blossom's gonna go,
the Rowdy Rough Boys.
Blossom's gonna be flying around, making sure this boy's not running around on her or something like that. I mean, like, it just seems like it's gonna be.
Oh gosh, that's horrible. That's just as bad as the Fresh Prince news we got a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So I mean, like, This is crazy. Like, I can't believe that this is the direction they're trying to do now.
Cartoon Network, are y'all that groundy for money that you need to sell your property? Or is this like is this the creator selling the IP? What is this? I need to know who's doing this.
Who is doing this to us?
Yeah, like, what? If the creator needs more money, I get it. But, like, bro, don't sell your soul to the CW. Like, at least sell your soul somewhere else. Not to them.
Oh, my gosh.
Jesus. But all right, yeah, that's all I got on that. It's just trash.
All right, so one news that came out this week that I'm super excited about because I love all the reality trash is The Bachelorette has set its date. It's going to start October 13th.
Is this the lost season?
This is the season that has supposed to been happening all year, and like COVID messed it up. And so Claire Crawley is
that
the Bachelorette.
Matt's on.
Matt's not on it. Matt was supposed to be on it originally, but then he got cast as a bachelor.
So then they were like,
so here's the drama in it. Claire Crawley is the Bachelorette. So what is known is, and they're pushing that Claire Crawley is the Bachelorette because like she's been supposed to be the one the whole time. But what's happened is that Claire Crawley called off in the middle of it and was like, I like this dude on the show. We're getting engaged. I don't want to do the rest of it. So, and this was like after like the second or third week of the filming. Exactly. Because like obviously she had known who the people are, so she's been in contact with them for like months. So like she gets the filming, she finds the guy she likes, she's like, I'm done. So they're gonna bring in Tayshia Adams, who, if people in Bachelor Nation know, Tayshia is an African American, stunning, beautiful. Should have been the Bachelorette from the jump. But she's going to take over for the second half of the show. So, like, it's interesting because they're not showing, because it's supposed to all be secret or whatever, but, I know all the rumors and spoilers. Thanks, Reality Steve. So Claire Crawley's going to be in it for, like, 2-3 weeks, and then Tayshia Adams is going to come in and take over for the rest of the show.
What type of shenanigans is this? So you're telling me for 3 weeks I'm going to watch this girl named Claire Crawley go. Then she's going to say, fuck this, and take her man and dip. And then this new girl, Tasha Adams, comes on for the remaining however many weeks.
Yes.
Do we get 2 weddings at the end of the season? Like, are we going to see Claire Crawley's, like, engagement, and then are we going to see Tasha Adams' engagement as well?
Well, we don't know what happens with Tayshia because they're still filming. But I don't know. I really don't know.
And then this guy Matt's just in the wings waiting for his turn.
He's just waiting. He's waiting for the season to be over so that he can start his journey as the Bachelor. I think they're hoping more so that COVID lets up so they can go do like a real season, because this is definitely going to be a weird one.
I'm excited. Yeah. I might actually watch this because we're going to get the little switch.
This is one of those times where Chris Harrison says this is going to be the craziest Bachelor season ever, and I believe it. Like,
he does that every year.
like, you know, to make things even crazier. So Chris Harrison, they've been doing like the Bachelor recap for the summer, like, and Chris Harrison's son has been like filming for him because of COVID or whatever. And his son is about to go to college. So while they were filming this, his son is going to college. So Chris Harrison leaves the set, and of course he has to quarantine because he leaves the set. So he's not there for like 2 or 3 weeks because he's taking his son to college. So JoJo, who was the Bachelorette years before, comes in to host. So, like, talk about the weirdest season of the Bachelorette ever. This is going to be completely bonkers. So
that's pretty nuts.
October 13th, the craziness begins, and I'm excited about it.
You might have sold me. You might have just sold me because, like, I haven't been interested in a Bachelor/Bachelorette season in a while. You might have just sold me for all the shenanigans and hootenannies.
It's going to be wild.
But with all that being said, let's get into Movie on the Rise because this is a big, big week. I'm starting it off Wednesday, Tenet. It's here. John David Washington as the protagonist. Robert Pattinson. We've been talking about this fucking movie for months now. At the end of last year, I said my most anticipated movie is this one. It's here, ladies and gents. We're doing it. You're getting a review for it next week. I'm hyped. I hope it lives up to expectations because if it doesn't, I'll be so sad. And you'll hear sad Lynn coming in to talk about this pod. It has 2 of my actors who I think are going to blow up in John David Washington and Robert Pattinson. 3. Aaron Taylor Johnson. This is an important movie for this show. Like, if I'm going to be honest, this is an important movie for this show. We were excited. Also, a show that might have gotten some of y'all to join us when we did our review of this. We were kind of, and look, I don't like to toot our own horn, but I do it when we don't get the props we deserve. I see all these people championing The Boys, and I'm glad it's getting the love it deserves. But let me call a spade, because I watch these movie people in this community. I watch the TV community. We were behind The Boys first. That's all I'm going to say. We were behind them first. I didn't see people talking about it for 3 to 4 weeks after it came out. Schubert knows I watched that shit all in one night, and we were there next week talking about it. I made him bust his ass to talk about it. We were the first. We did it. That show is our bread and butter. Like, to me, when you think of Bros Who Binge, there are 2 shows that I consider our bread and butter. Titans and fucking The Boys. And maybe Watchmen, because we were on that shit very early as well. But everybody was on Watchmen. But The Boys, I take full just ownership of because I love that fucking show, man. And like,
yeah, I cannot believe that you watched that whole thing. I'm sitting in my bed just sleeping, and you're in my living room just like watching the whole fucking show.
That's how good it was. Like, that's how fucking good it was. In season 2, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Like, are we gonna come and talk about it all in the next week, or are we gonna have to like space some of this out?
I mean, we're gonna have to space it out because we're still talking about Lovecraft. We got Tenet that we got to talk about next week.
We're gonna space it out. We'll probably at least the first 2. At least the first 2.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably argue probably the first 3. Just let's say the first 2. Let's say the first 2 because like I know my own time restrictions. I know my own time restrictions in life. But
I'm going to watch all of it. I'm going to be ready to go because unlike Umbrella Academy, this is my shit. This season 2 looks so fucking good. Billy Butcher just looks like a liar. If you watch all these trailers, he looks like he's about to start some shit. I feel like this is the episode where this is the season where the group breaks up. I feel like the group's going to splinter after this season. There's going to be a lot of drama. Like, I feel like they're not going to believe Billy Butcher, and he's going to go through, like, a huge transformation. We got Storm, the Shazam character in this season. I hope Black Noir gets more shit. I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped. I want to see more my girl, who I consider, if you ask me who I want to see an actress thrive, which we're going to have that conversation eventually, but Karen Fukuhara, I love her. Ever since I saw her as Katana on Suicide Squad, I love that actress. I think she's amazing, gorgeous, just has the charisma. I want to see her kick ass this season as well as Homelander. Like, I'm in it, man. This Saturday, I think, the 4th. That's when the 4th is. Ooh, it comes out the day before we pod. Oh, no, it comes out Friday. All right, that's 2 days. Yeah, only say the first 2 for you because I know you're not going to watch more than that.
Yeah, probably so.
But we'll talk about it next week. I'm hyped.
Yeah, and we already know that there's going to be a season 3. It's already signed on.
I wonder, are they doing weekly? For some reason, I thought they were doing weekly releases for this. Oh man,
No. It's going to be 3 on the first week.
Ooh, so okay. Well, then we got to
They're
talk
gonna
about the
do
first 3. We're gonna have to talk about the first 3.
it's going to be 3 in the first week and then weekly.
Yeah, so they're doing it. They're doing it like they understand. They know what they have. They don't want to have. They don't want to have Lynn sit up all night, watch and not go back and give their streaming service some love after that first night. So yeah, we got to do the first 3. So all right, that settles that. But I'm hyped. Next, this is a big week for the pod. Tenant, boys, and we got some other shit that you're about to talk about. This is a big week for movie and TV fans in general.
Sure. Like for my movie on the rise, we got some big shows coming up on all different streaming networks. On Peacock, for those who haven't bought into Peacock, there's a show that we watched on NBC for 2 seasons that we really enjoyed. And when it went away, we were shocked. But it got a revival on Peacock, AP Bio Season 3, starring our boy from Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny.
I support this Always Sunny homies. Like, I love Mythic Quest. I love AP Bio. The only one I couldn't get behind was D in the Mick. The Mick was kind of ass.
Yeah. It wasn't terrible. But what she did on Quibi was actually pretty good with her and Will Forte.
Just out of all the 3 of the spinoffs, because Charlie Day hasn't really done nothing too crazy. Just like...
He's a movie guy.
Yeah, AP Bio is great. Mythic Quest is great, but the Mick, whatevs. But my question to you is, because both of us have YouTube TV and NBC on there, so it's only on Peacock?
Only on Peacock. It's Peacock original.
Fuck, they're gonna make me get it. They're gonna that. If anything makes me get Peacock, it's to support my boy Glenn Howerton. We're fans.
Yeah. So, Peacock, AP Bio is coming back. So that's going to be out, lit. I think, Thursday or Friday of this week.
Damn, big week. That's lit. I'm excited for that.
On HBO Max, we talked about the trailer earlier on, Raised by Wolves, if you remember that trailer. So that's coming out on HBO Max this week.
That Travis Himmel show? My boy from Vikings? The sci-fi shit? Oh, I'm watching that. Show. Oh, I'm watching that this week.
So Raised by Wolves comes out on HBO Max. Now let's move to Netflix. Netflix has Young Wallander, which we talked about the trailer on that. It's definitely something to try. I'm not going to go ahead and say subscribe that, this is going to be the next great show on Netflix, but it's something that I'm willing to try.
Look, The Boys has an automatic 9.910 rating that you got to watch it.
Yeah.
The AP Bio, I'm giving it a solid 8.99. It's gotta watch it. It's hilarious.
Go check out the other seasons on Hulu if you haven't.
The HBO Max show, I'm giving it, out of curiosity of the trailer, I'm giving it a solid 8. Like, maybe check it out, 7.9. Young Wallander, 7.5, baby. I'm hype. I got Young Wallander.
It's a detective drama.
I'm excited. Like that's something that when I'm done with The Boys 3 episodes, I'm sitting in my house and I'm like, do I want to watch another anime or they got some live action? Oh, yeah, Young Wallander. But speaking of anime, I haven't done you guys justice being the anime guy telling you guys what's up. Netflix has 2 right now that are really fucking looks incredible. BNA number 1, it's about these animals and there's like a detective thing going on in there. Shit looks nuts. I've seen like the first episode of that one. That one's really good. But the one that I'm excited for that like I'm watching tonight to talk about on Anime Talk, the next Anime Talk, but it's called The Great Pretender. It looks so fucking good. It's about a con man and like the FBI's after him and he's doing all these cons and he's trying to trick the FBI. Shit looks great. It's like in English. It's in all different languages. And like
I think it's like started French.
Yeah, because he does so many different cons internationally. He speaks all these different languages, so it's a multi dialect inside the show. So it's crazy. Yeah. It looks good. There's a lot of good TV out right now. And it's crazy that all the stuff it's what you said earlier before with COVID, how we're going to get to a point to where everything's just going to drop at once. And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. I mean, with the movies and all that too. The one thing that we talked about weeks ago that I finally got around to watch on Apple TV, so covering all of the bases of the streaming networks, Ted Lasso. And Ted Lasso is a really solid comedy with Jason Sudeikis. Like, it was one of those things where I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, this is funny, and watched the second episode. The concept of the American coach moving to England to be a soccer coach. Of course, everyone in the area is just like, what the heck is this guy doing? He's not only was he like an American football coach, but he was like American football coach at Wichita State. Like, you know, it wasn't even like a big name thing.
A trash school.
But he took him to the championship was the thing. Like, he took him to the D2 championship or something like that. And so they bring him over. And like in the third episode, there's an episode where he goes along with like a reporter, and pretty much like that kind of pretty much gives you the layout of the show. Is like, he's a guy that you can definitely tell is in over his head, but you can't help but root for him. And that's how I felt about the show. Like, you know, Jason Sudeikis' character is a little bit, it's funny because it's just one of those comedies where you're like, you root for the guy. It's not like The Office where you cringe at some of the moments. It's like funny, but also has a lot of heart. Okay. So I think it's a good little show to check out on Apple TV. Apple TV spitting out pretty good content too. So
there's some pretty decent stuff out there. But with that being said, we got a lot to discuss next week. Y'all be on the lookout. Tenet, Boys, Ted Lasso, fucking Young Wallander. We got a lot next week. Shit's gonna be litty. But it's time. It's time for the pitching match.
It's time. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go defend our show because you're out. Like, I have to hold it down. I got to hold it down for us. So let me try to put my best foot forward and win for the Bros Who Binge boys. But with that being said, Schubert, I'm going to toss it to you for our pitching match.
It's time for another pitch-it match. Man, I'm excited for this one. We got Lynden is coming to play today. So he's going to take on Shamit. And we've been talking about this, hyping it up the whole episode. It's finally time. You know, let's go real quick to Ian, who's going to be hosting this with me. Ian, how are you doing today? Are you ready for this match?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to be here. I think we're having a little bit nicer weather here in Michigan than you guys are there, but I don't know, maybe. No, I'm glad y'all are doing okay. I'm glad y'all are safe, and I hope you stay that way throughout this storm that's going on right now. But I'm excited for this pitch-it match. It'll be something nice to take our minds off of everything that's going on in the world in general right now. You know, that's why we do the things we do. So let's fire it up, man. I'm excited.
Speaking of that, with everything going on with the hurricane, that means that Lynden is out on location. Let's go to our contestants. Lynden, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm out in Mobile, Alabama, escaping the hurricane, you know, chilling. Sponsored by Grizzly. Nah, I'm just joking. God. I'm just joking. Got him here, though. Grizzly, hit us up. You already know the deal. But I'm here ready to take on Shamit, and I wish him good luck in this match. Shamit is also from Bourbon Street Shots, Schubert. He's the lead writer of Bourbon Street Shots, and he has a podcast. Hold on. I listened to his podcast. Let me pull it up. I don't want to say the right. Shamit, what's the name of your pod, bro?
In the Know.
In the Know. Yeah, y'all check out his podcast. It has a great NBA podcast covering the Pelicans. In the Know. Y'all check him out. But Shamit, bro, how you doing?
I'm chilling. I'm excited for this. Been waiting a while to get back on one of these. And I'm excited that you guys consider me a welcome guest. So let's get the show on the road.
Hell yeah, man. I'm ready. You guys, I'm good whenever y'all are.
Yeah, you know, this has been a match that we've been waiting on, and I know Lynden's been talking about for weeks, so we're definitely ready to get into it. We sent you guys your first round question. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up real quick. So the way this usually goes is we have our first round, and like I said, I sent them in the question, and they've gotten some time to prepare and get themselves ready for this, and it's a 3-minute open, so they'll have 3 minutes to talk about their what they prepared for their round one answer, and then we will open it up to questions where they'll have a 1-minute rebuttal to the questions that Ian and I have for them, and we will close it out with a 1.5-minute closing. While I'm thinking about it, we're going to go ahead and flip a coin real quick to see who goes first. Lynden, call it in the air.
Tails.
All right. It's heads. So, Shamit, you get to choose whether you want to go first or second.
I'll go second.
All right. Always a solid choice.
I wanted to go first anyway.
All right. So here was the first round question given to Shamit and Lynden. Space Jam 2 just revealed its latest look for its sequel/reboot. pitch a classic basketball movie that should be rebooted or made into a sequel for this decade. Provide any details you can with actors, directors, etc., but do provide a brief synopsis on what this iteration will be about. So, Ian, if you're ready, we'll go ahead to Lynden.
I'm ready, man.
All right. So
You got your timer?
I've got the timer ready to go for 3 minutes. Lynden, you may start in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so this question to me is a classic PitchIt question. So it's basically pitch a classic basketball movie that should be rebooted or made into a sequel for this decade. When I think about this, what sticks out to me is this decade. Okay, what is going on in society and sports? On the society front, we're looking to the rights to right the wrongs of the past, and we're more socially conscious. And when you think of this decade with sports, something that always stuck out was being more player friendly, even more so about society, even more so when it comes to society, the aspect of paying players and the corruption of the NCAA. So to me, two movies that stick out that tie in corruption of NCAA, paying players, as well as a socially conscious and looking at that. Two movies that I thought tried to attempt that early on, but one succeeded, the others didn't, was Blue Chips and He Got Game. Now, to me, the problem with rebooting Blue Chips as you would have to have multiple NBA stars in the movie, and multiple NBA stars can't act. Like, let's call it spade a spade. Like, NBA stars can't act. So the thing to me with He Got Game is you have one solid NBA star with an amazing cast. And He Got Game had Denzel Washington as Jake Shuttlesworth, Ray Allen as Jesus, Jade Yorker as Jesus when he was young, Mila Jovovich, John Turturro, Rosario Dawson. That's a great cast. I think it's important to have an NBA star, though, so the basketball can look realistic, and you already have fans in tow to come support your favorite player. And who's that favorite player that I'm going to cast, you might ask? It's none other than the most popular rookie since LeBron James, Mr. Zion Williamson. Zion will be playing Xavier Alexander, a.k.a. the X-Man. He is the best player in the country out of Houston, Texas. Texas is one of the biggest high school sports states in the country, and Xavier is the biggest high school player in said country. Every scout wants him, but he's undecided. His mother died when he was 10 years old in a car accident with his father. His father was drunk and had a gambling problem. Xavier now lives with his aunt, played by Regina King. Well, Xavier's father has been out of jail for a couple months now by the time the start of this movie, but he never went around his son. He's been trying to find his footing in the world. He is played by Mahershala Ali, and he has been racking up gambling debts because he continues to blame himself for his wife's debts, and the only way he knows how to solve that pain is with booze and gambling. Well, the boosters at UT Austin want Xavier at all costs. And one of the boosters is this semi-pseudo mob boss who's the owner of said casino where Mahershala racks up a lot of his debt. That is played by none other than Daniel Craig. Well, Daniel Craig offers him a get-out-of-jail-free card by convincing his son to come to UT. They will also pay him an extra $50,000 to begin his new life. Daniel Craig is also accompanied by his goon, Aaron Paul. If you're a gangster / casino boss, you always have to have your goon, and that's Aaron Paul. Ali then tries to get into Xavier's life, but Regina King is heavily against it, especially since the state playoffs are starting. The movie starts at about the start of round 1, and it ends with the state championship.
That's it. Time's up.
All right. Well, I'll finish the pitch in the next round.
All right. Let me reset this. All right.
I got really
Shamit.
in depth.
All right, it's time for Shamit's first pitch. Shamit, you can get started in 3, 2, 1.
First of all, I love the Mahershala Ali casting, one of my favorite actors. Props on that. But for my pitch, I'm going to reboot the classic Like Mike. All right. First of all, my main casting, one of the main characters, Daniel Kaluuya. All right. Just wait for it. Second main character, Adam Driver. All right, those are going to be my two main characters. The director is going to be M. Night Shyamalan. Now, before I even get into the pitch, if I include M. Night Shyamalan, there's going to be a twist. Well, the twist is it's not Like Mike basketball. It's Like Mike Michael Jackson. All right, Daniel Kaluuya is a janitor that works at a school. He finds an amazing pair of leather pants, and when he puts them on, he can sing amazingly. He literally turns into Michael Jackson, can dance just like him, right? And so soon his stardom grows. People think he's the next coming of Mike. And ever since then, he slowly begins this transformation that Michael Jackson underwent himself. And the white Michael Jackson is played by Adam Driver. He has to deal with all the issues that came with Michael Jackson's stardom, as well as this transformation that he's having to go through until he meets a very wise Daniel Craig, which I'm glad that you chose him as well. It happened to be one of my people as well. But he meets a very wise Daniel Craig who talks him into giving up the fame and giving up the pants. But that is my pitch. That is my Like Mike reboot. And we're going to do it.
All right. Well, those were two good pitches. I'll leave the first question over to you, Ian. Do you have any questions for Lynden or Shamit?
So for Lynden, obviously with Shamit, we see instantly how it's going to be totally different than the original movie. So Lynden, what would you want to change, I guess maybe stylistically or with the way the movie is filmed? Like, how would you try and set this apart to not have the original movie just be constantly playing in people's heads and then doing okay, this was different, I didn't like that as much, that kind of thing. For Shamit, what, I guess I have the opposite question. What is going to tie this back to Like Mike other than the fact that it's also called Like Mike? Because it seems like just a completely different movie than the original Like Mike. Like, would you use some of the same character type interactions? Would you use some of the same growth as characters? Like, how would you tie it back into the original?
All right. My question for Shamit is very similar. Like, with what Ian said, how do you make it seem to everyone that this is a reboot or a sequel to Like Mike? And for Lynden, how do you get away with putting a 20-year-old kid who's never acted before on there? What makes Zion the guy that you think should be the NBA representation as an actor? Yeah, that's it for my questions.
Cool.
All right, so
I gotta finish my pitch.
All right, well, Lynden, you will have 1 minute in this round to finish off your pitch and maybe address some of the questions.
Gotcha.
So you can get started in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'm going to finish off my pitch, and that will answer Ian's question of stylization. So first off, the movie starts at round 1 and ends with the state championships. Ali tells Zion that if he doesn't help, then he will die because Daniel Craig has threatened it with his life. He doesn't mention, however, that he will receive $50,000. Xavier must decide whether or not to help his dad. He then, Regina King is very against it because he knows that Ali is just a user and abuser. Xavier then decides, however, to help. He goes and meets with Craig. Craig then has them both sign a document stating that this is what's going on. He's going to commit to UT. However, right at the end, once he signs it, he also says that inside of that contract, there's an agreement that Zion would point shave some of the game and keep it close to 5 points so he can cook the books for said game. Zion is devastated by this, and he doesn't want to play. However, Ali, this is his redemption where he tells him, yo, I'm going to take care of this. You go play. Don't worry about the game. We then see Ali go and once Zion wins, we see that
That's
Daniel
it.
All right, cool. I'll finish
All
off
right.
in the third round.
Okay, well, Shamit, you are going to have 1 minute to answer any questions that we had or to make digs at Lynden or to keep, further along your pitch. You'll have 1 minute in 3, 2, 1, go.
So to address the question of how it ties back to Like Mike, well, one, obviously the title. Okay, it should be pretty obvious to people there. But two, the sort of connection where you have this magical article of clothing that turns you into something else. And the kind of growth process the character is going to take is getting accustomed to the fame and the stardom, as well as the personal mental struggles that came with being Michael Jackson, battling his own demons, turning into Adam Driver, the white Michael Jackson. And that's going to be the transformation of the character where he meets this mentor who was played by Daniel Craig, who kind of talks him off the ledge and makes him realize that, this fame and stardom isn't it. As far as digs, I got none. I feel that's the best dig.
That's it for that round.
I got 130, huh?
So Lynden, you'll have 90 seconds.
Yeah, 130. All right, perfect.
To finish off this pitch and also address some of the other things. You can get started in 3, 2, 1.
Ali determines that, look, it's about my son. I can't let him fall down this path like I did and fuck up his life. So he ends up, he tells Xavier to win the game. Xavier ends up winning the game. And then after Daniel Craig gives a press conference. But, however, Ali counters with saying that, look, I forged my son's name, thus breaking his parole, committing forgery, sending him back to jail. Zion, however, doesn't get to go to play college. He loses in his eligibility, but he joins the G League for a year before joining the NBA. The film will be directed by the Safady brothers. The stylistic thing is it's going to be feeling this man of Mahershala Ali go through the depths of pain and how the Safady brothers really make you sit on edge because of these people choosing stupid decisions. And that's going to differentiate from the first one because it was more happy-go-lucky. But this is going to be really, really thriller and just really sad and seeing a man go through the depths of his thing. Shamit, my dig for him is this isn't a sports movie. Like, the question is a sports movie. It's about Michael Jackson. This is a musician. That doesn't answer the question. I get he's calling it like Mike, but it has nothing to do with basketball. It's music. If the question was music, he'd win, but it doesn't. And he said he doesn't have any digs to me because I have a good pitch. So, look, that's what it is. It is what it is. But the Safady brothers directing, Regina King, you got Daniel Craig, you got Mahershala Ali. Zion should be there because he has a fandom already, and he could take acting classes like they did for Ray Allen.
All right. So that was Lynden's pitch for a He Got Game reboot starring Zion. And now we'll go to Shamit for his final rebuttal here with 90 seconds on the clock. Shamit, you can get started in 3, 2, 1.
Look, if it takes you 3 rounds to flesh out your pitch, it's not really a well thought out pitch. That's my opinion. As far as the question goes, it was asked, what sports movie, what basketball movie would you reboot? It was never specified that it had to stay within the basketball realm. So, like Mike being a classic basketball movie, I figured you could use that as a play on Michael Jackson, and who is a star in and of himself. There was 2 MJs. There was Michael Jordan, there was Michael Jackson, and those were the 2 biggest stars of that time. And I think making a movie at this time about Michael Jackson is, well, appropriate.
All right. Well, that ends round 1. And so, Ian, what do you think about this round 1 pitch between Shamit and Lynden?
Oh, man. So it was a very well fought round. Shamit, your pitch, I could see instantly Adam Driver, like a close up of his face as he turns to the camera with his perm and he just lets out a whoo. So I thought, very creative to flip like Mike like that and use the other famous Mike. So props to you for that. Lynden, on the other hand, I feel like after listening to your pitch, I just actually watched the movie. That's how well, thought out and put together it was. Shamit, I think you were at a disadvantage because Lynden hosts this game, so he knew exactly what he needed to go for in that one to flesh it out well. But the deciding factor for me came early. It was in round 1 when Shamit said, I'm going to have the piece of paraphernalia be pants. I thought you totally missed the opportunity for a white glove. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to have to go with Lynden in this one.
Wow, that's a good dig, but I did not even think about that. That definitely kind of puts me through my head. But for me, I really appreciated Shamit's pitch because it makes me really excited for these next rounds. If he's going to come out here, and I love flipping the question because I always, my questions aren't always the most set in stone. If you can find a way to at least to flip it and, turn it into something that I'd never even would have expected, that's always well appreciated. And, Lynden as well, when I had my match a few weeks back, I had a pretty well thought out, fleshed idea. And I mean, that's what this round 1's all about. You get the time, give us the lowdown. And like you said, I feel like I've seen the movie. For me, I'm always a fan of being surprised. So I'm going to go with Shamit for round 1. So that's going to take us to the mystery 3rd judge. So you guys talk amongst yourselves while I go to the other room and talk with them.
Yeah, man.
Yo, Shamit, you almost had me at the end there. The way you deflected Lynden's dig, that was so creative. I never would have thought of that to just be like, yeah, man, who cares? This is a competition. I'm giving my best shot. Screw you, man. That was great, man.
You're right about the white glove. That's where my mind should have. For some reason, I was just thinking like a really hot pair of leather pants, is super tight that he finds in this lost and found at the school that he's a janitor in. And I could have done a better job of expressing that. But you're right, the white glove is a better fit.
It was like if you had even said like a pair of the loafer shoes with a buckle on it.
Oh yeah.
Or like the white top hat or something. But when you said like Mike, I was like, oh, the shoes, we're obviously going with the glove here, and then I was just disappointed. So that was really just me being petty.
well, all right, guys, we are back with the decision from the third judge. The third judge, his knocks with Shamit were what Ian said. Thought that the white glove would have been the perfect idea for that, and also that it really didn't have a basketball element, which he kind of was hoping that there would be a basketball element to this round as well. So for that reason, we're going to have to go with Lynden, and Lynden wins round 1, which gives him control of the board for round 2. Just to remind people what's going on in round 2. So Lynden, being the winner, will get a chance to pick a category and then a number to get a question. And once we establish the question, he'll get to decide whether he wants to go first or second. And the round starts with a 2-minute opener with whatever you think of that question, and then a question period where Ian and I will address how we think about the first pitch, and then we will go into the 1-minute rebuttal, and that will be it for the round. So the categories for round 2 are choice, sports, film, and TV. And those who don't know what choice is, you get to choose what you want to pitch. You don't have to think about it on the fly. You get a question, you get some options, and you choose. So, Lynden, out of those 4 categories, what are you thinking?
I want to go with film for the first one.
All right, and what's your number?
5.
All right. It's pretty on topic with what you and Ian and I will be doing later on the network by talking about Goodfellas, a Martin Scorsese movie. This question is: Martin Scorsese is known for his gangster movies. Pitch a gangster to use in a movie that you would like to see him tackle.
Right.
You can interpret the gangster however you want. And would you like to go first or second?
Second, please.
All right. So, Shamit, you will have 2 minutes on the clock to answer this question one more time. Martin Scorsese is known for his gangster flicks. Pitch a gangster to use in a movie that you would like to see him tackle. So you will have 2 minutes on the clock. You can get started in 3, 2, 1.
We're going to take this a little bit global. I'm going to pick a global gangster, Dawood Ibrahim. He's one of the most famous gangsters in India. He's actually a global terrorist. And I would love for Martin Scorsese to branch out rather from the nitty-gritty in your neighborhood or in your city type gangster where it's more real to kind of like this global enterprising terrorist of a person who controls so many different facets of crime and the different layers that it takes to get to that level, and maybe even tackle a bit of his origin story, what it took for him to get there, and then at his peak where he's at, and address how the various government agencies and police agencies are really going to go after this guy. And it could be a cool duality between him and his life and his background, but also a very small focus on the team that is specifically responsible for taking him in and kind of shifting perspectives on both as they play this chess match between each other.
All right. Definitely interesting pitch for Shamit's first crack at this question. So, Lynden, I'm going to go ahead and reset the clock now. You will have 2 minutes to have a pitch for yourself. So you can get started in 3, 2, 1.
Martin Scorsese is known for tackling either out of the country movies or keeping it with white culture and white America. Something I would love to see Martin Scorsese do is tackle a black gangster. And what better gangster than the man that Rick Ross stole his name from, other than Freeway Ricky Ross, the man who brought crack cocaine into Los Angeles and really started the cocaine narcotics sale. This also can be worldly because he dealt with the CIA. He had to go to Colombia. You see Freeway Ricky Ross deal with a CIA agent and gets him to give him the cocaine, teaches him how to make crack. We then see him bring it back to the hood and into certain couple of gangs. So we'll get that story of it. And we get to see how he finessed the government and ended up making more money than the government wanted him to. He ended up stealing some of that money because he was supposed to give it back, as well as he beat so many police charges and everything by being such a smooth talking MFer. And he always got out of different cop insinuations. One scene could be where when one of those cops pulled him over and he had 15 grams of cocaine in his back seat, and he basically talked him out of it by talking about a Laker game. And it's just, that's how interesting a guy that Freeway Ricky Ross was. He was worldly, and the thing was, he was a high school dropout, but he found a way through street smarts, and that's something that Martin Scorsese is great at, is when he deals with street smart people, wise talkers, and this is what Freeway Ricky Ross is. It's up his alley with cocaine, and it brings Martin Scorsese into a different city, which is LA, and a different culture, which is black culture, something we've never seen Martin Scorsese tackle, something I would love to see him tackle, and the person to play Freeway Ricky Ross is none other than Daniel Kaluuya.
All right, Daniel Kaluuya getting a lot of play on this show today. Ian, do you have any questions for our contestants?
So Lynden actually answered one of my questions as he was talking there. So Lynden, I guess I would say, what prevents this from just becoming another gangster Scorsese film? Like, what separates it from the bunch? Other than the fact that it's not just about your standard East Coast mobster, Italian from the same block. And Shamit, what would make people be interested in the story? The same way that Lynden's story might kind of get lost in the crowd of Scorsese movies. What prevents your movie from being lost in the crowd of, just mob movies in general? What sets it apart? Or what makes the audience here in America care, I guess, would be a better question.
All right. For Lynden, my question will be, do you think that this might be too far out of Martin Scorsese's wheelhouse for him to be able to rein that in and tell it right? Where with Shamit, my question, I'm kind of curious who you think would play your main gangster, if you have any idea of who that could be. And that's about it, because you only got a minute, so I'm not going to bog you down with too many questions. All right, so Shamit, you're going to be giving us your rebuttal first. You will have 1 minute on the clock. You can get started in 3, 2, 1.
Everyone loves a good gangster movie, but there's nothing better than appealing to a global crowd. Bollywood is one of the biggest film industries in the world. It rivals Hollywood. And so if you're able to tap into the Bollywood viewership and generate the kind of money that you can get with the Indian population, that's ideally the goal here. And I think that's what separates this gangster movie from a typical Scorsese gangster movie. And what separates it from a regular Bollywood movie is the fact that Martin Scorsese is doing a take on this. And so as far as who would play, there's a really famous Bollywood actor, Amir Khan. He's done a lot of good films that are actually have become popular in America as well. And I believe he would be the perfect person to play my villain here. All
right. Lynden, you will have 1 minute for your rebuttal, and you can get started in 3, 2, 1.
As much as I love Shamit's pitch, if you know Martin Scorsese, his problem is he knows American culture. Schubert, that's why I don't think he'll be out of his wheelhouse, is because he knows American culture to a T. And the thing that Ian wants is, what makes this different from his typical movies is Rick Ross ends up going to jail, but it doesn't stop at jail. He learns in jail. He ends up getting a law degree to get himself out, and he exposes the Iran-Contra. We'll get to understand everything about the Iran-Contra and the CIA. But Martin Scorsese's worst films was when he went out of the country with Kundun and Silence. We see Martin Scorsese cannot tackle non-American things as well. Those are his worst films. Now, again, like with Ian's question, we get to learn everything about the Iran-Contra through this eyes of this black man, and we get to see how crack was brought into the hood. That's what makes this different from a typical Martin Scorsese, and it fits in with the socially conscious thing of right now of how America has not given black people a fair shake by using one of their own to poison their communities.
All right, I'm not going to pretend I heard any of the end
Hey,
of that because
man.
you were
We're
out of
striking
time.
that from the record. We're
Hey,
disregarding
man.
that.
Look,
All right.
Stenographer, scratch that.
you can scratch communities.
Okay. Well, anyway, Ian, what are you thinking?
Very good job by both of you guys coming back and directly addressing our questions. I'm not going to ask a question. I just want to hear what you guys are going to say in the last round. Oh,
this is it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was a lot. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to read the rule book here real fast. So I guess if I would have to go with, I'm going to go with Lynden, just because he came back and, you know, brought the stats. He showed me the Carfax with Scorsese's work out of the country. But Shamit, again, very creative idea. You're right on the verge, man. You know, Lynden's winning these by a hair, so don't get discouraged here going into round 3.
Yeah, I would say the same thing to Shamit because I really liked his pitch. But sometimes the benefit of going second is that you have an opportunity to put the digs on. And I think that's what Lynden did here. I really can't rebut the fact that Scorsese hasn't had a good track record outside the U.S. And although I do still have my questions about how he would tackle Black culture, I would have to go with Lynden for this as well. So that would take us to the next round 3.
All right, let's go TV.
TV. All right, what's your number?
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay. Pitch a Disney princess to get an action series.
Bet.
Could be series or a movie by that, or is it TV? So it has to be series.
Series. Oh man, I should go first, but yeah, I'm gonna go first.
All right.
I'm gonna go first.
All right. So again, the question is: pitch a Disney princess to get an action series. Lynden will have 2 minutes on the clock to give his first pitch. So Lynden, you can get started in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, well, pitch a Disney princess to get a TV series. Well, I think the idea of a Mulan movie, you don't get the full story, and that's why China was upset. There was more to the idea about Mulan, and that's what I want to explore. I want to get a series where we can explore her training, where we can see how she had to go through the gruel. I want to have the political aspect of where is she a man, is she a woman, and then as well as give us more perspective on the villain of the Huns. Like, that's the problem with the movie. We don't get to understand who the villain is enough. He's just this quote-unquote bad guy, but there's more to it about the Huns. It's about this idea that they were a better people, that they were conquerors, and that they felt that it was God's intervention of why they should conquer this world. And that's why if you want a good action TV series, you need to have a great villain who you understand, who you can relate to. If not, you need to have good reasons why he's doing what he's doing. You need to have good characterization about a cast and about this woman to where you understand everything about her, and you have some political intrigue along with badass martial arts. It doesn't get any better than that. And I would want the director of one of the best Mandalorian episodes, as well as the new Obi-Wan series, to be my showrunner, Deborah Chow. She is someone who she's an Asian woman. She understands Asian culture. She won't butcher it. She'll understand it perfectly. And that's who I want to lead my series. She's shown that she can do it with The Mandalorian and directing some amazing episodes. They got her to do Obi-Wan. Why not keep in the wheelhouse of having someone who understands how to do a little samurai action with Obi-Wan? Because let's not act like Obi-Wan's not a sci-fi samurai. And let's get Mulan with this amazing sword, kicking ass and taking names, kicking the Huns' ass. And that's what I want to see. And I'll explain more of my pitch in the next round.
All right. So that's it for Lynden's first pitch. So we'll go to Shamit. Again, the question is pitch a Disney princess to get a action series. You can get started on your pitch in 3, 2, 1.
Instead of going global this time, I'm keeping it here in the United States. We're going with Pocahontas. I feel like there is no better story, no better way to tell the history of this country and the plight of the Native American people, frankly, through the eyes of Pocahontas and everything that went down in Jamestown. And I feel like this would be a tremendous opportunity to take you from the perspective of both the indigenous people here in America as well as the colonizers that were coming in from Jamestown, where there's a gray area of who the true villain really is. You know, you like people on both sides of it, but the sad reality is, you know what's going to happen at the end, and you're kind of waiting for that struggle to pan out the way it does. I would have the Westworld director, Jonathan Nolan, direct this to kind of give it the same gritty feel. I think he did a really good job in Westworld season 1 and 2, tackling the Western side of it. There were some indigenous characters, some Native Americans in Westworld as well. And I feel like he can really expand upon that and bring it into Pocahontas, where you can have a few seasons long of each character's journey to the ultimate climax.
All right. Yeah. I like both those pitches. Definitely. Ian, you have, what's your thoughts? You got any questions?
I have no questions.
No questions.
No, just sell me with this last round.
All right.
It's even in my mind right now.
For me, I want to know, Lynden, where you're going tonally. Because what the big issue with Mulan has been, what is the tone? We don't know this new movie. That's, also something that if you wanted to address as well, if this movie is coming out regardless. So this series would be competing with a movie that is already out. Would it have any tie-ins to that? Would it play with the tone, with that tone, or with the animated tone? That's kind of what I have with Mulan. And with the Pocahontas pitch, I guess my one question would be, the one thing that a lot of people push back on with that movie is that the romance was a little faked in it. Will there still be, and we're talking about a movie that, through what you said in your pitch, has to do with, the tensions. Would there still be the romance element that we've come to know from that Pocahontas story? So we'll have 1 minute for each rebuttal. Lynden will go first. Lynden, you have 1 minute for your rebuttal, starting in 3, 2, 1.
My problem with Pocahontas is, yes, it's an action series, and yes, you see all the men around her fighting. My thing is, I'm lifting up a woman in this time, in this culture. We don't want to see damsels in distresses. We want to see women who can take their own and grab the bull by the horns and fight. To answer Schubert's question, tonally, this is going to be a tone similar to Game of Thrones. We're going balls to the wall. We're going to focus in on the martial arts. We're going to focus in on the political aspects, because that's what's going to make it in this Disney movie, because they don't know what tone they're going for, because it's Disney. We are taking the story of Hua Mulan. We are taking the story. It's not going to have the fantastical elements of a talking dragon. No, we're going to see war combat. We're going to see battles. If you ever seen Marco Polo, picture something like that from that Netflix series. But we're going to tell the story of a strong woman, that it's global. It can attract multiple viewers. The Chinese audience will be accepting of it because it's telling the true, real story. And American audiences can get behind it because it's martial arts, it's political intrigue, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Whereas with Pocahontas,
that's it. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. All right, Shamit, you'll get 1 minute for your rebuttal. You can get started with that in 3, 2, 1.
I'm glad that you pointed out that we're uplifting women here, because my Pocahontas is not going to be a damsel in distress. My Pocahontas is going to be a very capable central character who is responsible for both sides of the Native American people, as well as interacting with the colonizers. Now, I do realize that the original Pocahontas came with a lot of criticism with regards to the romance, and that is one of the reasons why I want to redo this as more of an action series, because I'm not going to include that romance element, but I am going to include an element where the people really have to confront the idea that colonizers took women from the Native Americans, either as slaves, either as concubines, either as something like that. That is an area I'm going to address. We're going to kind of leave it. I don't want to get too dark here on this PitchIt play, but we're going to go there. We're going to explore those uncomfortable realities.
That's it. All right. Well, I thought that, this was kind of a tough question, and I was wondering what direction people were going to go with it, but I was really pleased with what you guys had to put out there. Ian, what were your thoughts?
I enjoyed both of you guys' pitches. I really like both of those movies. If I had to pick here, I would say I'm going to go with Shamit, actually, because, you know, the idea of exploring the dark side of our own history is not something that anyone really attempts very frequently unless it's in a nonfiction element. And the idea of flipping a Disney movie that people had so many problems with and trying to do it justice appealed to me a little bit more than the modern day Mulan. You know, I really like the history of the wars between Japan and Mongolia and China. But just in this instance, Pocahontas was probably the only thing that was going to compete with Mulan. So that's why I was smiling. If you watch the YouTube video, you'll see me laughing when Lynden pitches Mulan, and then Shamit turns around and pitches Pocahontas right behind it. Very good round again by you guys, but Shamit's got my vote.
I'll be honest with you, Ian. I did not know what I would have gone with because, like, immediately the first thing you think of is Mulan. So, when Lynden said he was going first, I was like, well, I know what's coming here. And what I was really intrigued to hear was what Shamit was going to come with. And what he gave me, I thought was a really, really great pitch in a movie and a TV series that I would really, really like to watch. And of course, you know, as a person who named his childhood pet Mushu, I definitely am sad that there will not be a dragon in Lynden's series. So I'll have to go with Shamit to win this round. All right. So Shamit, that would turn the control of the board over to you. You have your choice between the 4 categories of choice, sports, film, and TV. What is your category?
That is a good question. Let's go with choice.
All right. Choice. We don't really need to give you a number for that because we have one question that we've been choosing from in this category, and it is, which of these 80s high school films would you choose to remake for today's teens? And the choices that we have remaining in this category are Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Teen Wolf, Dead Poets Society, Back to the Future, and The Lost Boys. Do you guys need me to repeat that?
Yeah, please do.
All right. Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Teen Wolf, Dead Poets Society, Back to the Future, or The Lost Boys.
Cool.
All right. So, Shamit, you get to choose whether or not you want to go first or second.
I'll go first here.
Okay. So, Shamit will be going first. He will have 2 minutes on the clock to give his pitch for choosing whichever one of these. And it's always good to go first because then you get to make your choice. And we'll get to find out what he has for us with his pitch in 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm going to remake The Breakfast Club. I feel like that was a really strong kind of coming of age movie that brought together weird characters from different backgrounds and forced them to interact in ways they hadn't before, and illuminated the different backgrounds they all came from, and brought them all together. I would remake that into the more modern day society where you're in this situation where, you know, everything is so heavily focused on technology. You know, back in the 80s, there were nerds and jocks and whatnot. And while some of those same archetypes might exist in today's high school, it's a lot more sophisticated. So we're going to explore all of the more sophisticated stereotypes that are in today's high school, as well as the different backgrounds people can come from. If I'm not mistaken, all of the characters in Breakfast Club were white. You know, that is definitely not going to be the case in this new movie. In fact, I'm pretty sure most of them are going to be minorities in some way or fashion. We're going to explore those backgrounds and have them come together and eventually see eye to eye by the end of the movie.
All right. That's it for Shamit's first pitch. We will turn the board over, or not the board, but turn it over to Lynden now. You'll have 2 minutes to make your pitch, and you can get started in 3, 2, 1.
I want to go with Back to the Future. What made Back to the Future so great was we explored a time period where at that time, the 50s was still close enough, and they had this sort of reverence for that time period. It was like sock ops and things, and you want something that looks familiar. So to me, being that we're in 2020 and what's the most popular music at the time is hip-hop music. So when we go Back to the Future, I want to go back and past to the 90s, and I want to deal with seeing the hip hop generation. That's going to be our backdrop of seeing how hip hop was formed, breakdancing and everything. And we're going to have a black character, and we're going to have a black doctor, so we can explore kind of the black background of what was going on during hip hop at that time, where our main character's father had the opportunity to either work with Kool Herc or not work with Kool Herc and end up with this bullshit job that he has. No matter what, he would have still met his mom, but he didn't get to live out his dream of working with Kool Herc and starting hip hop. And that's something that we're going to see. Well, if he makes that choice, does he make his father's life better, or does he make it work? And I think it's something that all people can get behind, because hip hop's such the biggest genre, and it's educational because we're going to find out about how hip hop started and everything. And we're going to have the backdrop of the 90s with baggy pants, baggy shirts, like early 90s, late 80s, breakdancing, graffiti. It's such a good time. It's such memorable. And that's what made Back to the Future so great, was you need a recognizable time period where people can be like, it's far enough in the past to where we have some nostalgia for it. And the biggest nostalgia we have is for the 90s. And that's something that we will explore. Instead of seeing the white background, we'll see the African-American background with this Back to the Future.
All right. I think those are two pretty good pitches to two movies I'm big fans of. Ian, do you have any questions?
Big fan of both of those movies as well. Those are the two I would have gone with personally. For Lynden, who is going to be playing the main characters in these roles? Do you have an idea about the actors? Where is it going to be set? Could be in New York, could be in Los Angeles, could be Atlanta, or even not one of those towns that I just named.
Back to the Future, there are a lot of places, middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and there are a lot of places with budding hip hop scenes at the time. With Shamit, tell me more about the technology aspect of this. I guess give me a little bit more about what the social classes might look like in the high school game now. That's my only question for you. Just tell me a little bit more about how the characters intermingle, how they meet initially, that kind of thing.
With me, I want to know from Shamit, what's like the school climate, like tell me more about like the principal character, because he kind of has like a big role in it. That's why I kind of mean like, what is like the school's vibe? Like, are they a goody school? Or are they a school that notoriously has kids in Saturday school? What's the school like? And for Lynden, I have a lot of the same things as Ian said. My one thing would be to add on to that. Are we doing a DeLorean again, or are we doing a new car?
Gotcha.
All right. So Shamit started the round, so he gets to start this round of rebuttal. You'll have 1 minute on the clock, and you can get started in 3, 2, 1.
Look, we've had 3 Back to the Futures. Who needs another one? We've seen countless time travel movies. Let's not do this again. With The Breakfast Club, the central theme of this is how American teenagers really struggle with their day-to-day lives, how their relationship with their parents translates to them performing in school. My principal character would be Bryan Cranston. I feel like he'd be a great teacher role to play, especially because we saw him play that in Breaking Bad. But really the focus here is the diverse backgrounds where the kids come from, the kind of struggles between the boomer generations of their parents not understanding the Gen Z and millennial generation of the kids who are constantly on their phones, they're TikToking, they're Fortniting, all of the above. The kids are in detention for various technology-related reasons, whether it was texting in class or going on inappropriate sites in schools, or making memes of the principal, which in fact got one of them in trouble.
All right. So Lynden, you'll have 1 minute for your rebuttal, and you can get started in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so Shamit said something about my film, and the difference is we're exploring a different race and a different comeuppance, and it's something that we all love, hip-hop, so we get to learn about that as well. The thing with his thing is you're doing Breakfast Club with a new generation where no one has social skills. It's all up in their phones, and they probably wouldn't talk to each other. Now, to answer Schubert's question of who's going to be my doctor, I want someone who is a comedian, someone who can be bombastic, and I want to revitalize someone's career. I want to go with David Allen Greer. He can be funny, he can get serious, but he's quirky, so you can see all of that. And I want him to go with a young female who is killing the game right now. She's going to be his niece, who is Amanda Stenberg from The Hate U Give. So we're giving a young Black actress a chance to shine. And not only are we doing that, we're showing Black culture. We're giving a generation of people who didn't get movies that were coming of age catered to them, to where they can see themselves, and young Black kids can dream of time travel and sci-fi, because that was something that.
All right, that's it. Cool. All right. So I thought this was a pretty tough one, Ian. What are your thoughts?
I did too. Again, another very close round. You guys are killing it this game. Man, I'm going to have to go with Lynden, just because of the jabs you threw at Shamit at the end. Again, I thought yours was a little bit more fleshed out. Yeah, I could just see a better feel for it. I did like the knock that there have been 3 Back to the Futures already. But, this one is going to be so just different in its overall look and feel.
The way it seems like to me is that it's a complete reboot, where it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Instead of it being Back to the Future 5 or whatever, it's
totally we're not going to have 50-year-old Marty McFly, so I'm okay with that. So I'm going to have to go with Lynden. Again, though, great job, Shamit. Just winning it by a hair is Lynden in this one.
Yeah, this is another tough one for me. I might have to go to the third judge because I really like Shamit's pitch. I could really see, he made a good point right off the bat that when The Breakfast Club came out, it was an all-white cast. I think that exploring it with a more diverse class with lots of different backgrounds would be, way more interesting, and even more interesting to see amongst the social structures as well. So I kind of like his Breakfast Club pitch, where with Lynden, I'm really confused about I just have I have some confusions about the time, and I'm just a time travel junkie. So I'd have to go with Shamit here on this one. So I'll go over to the third judge, and we'll figure out if Lynden's getting the win or if we're going to round 5.
That was a tough round, man. I'm glad I didn't say I waited, because of hosting this game, not to say this in your pitch, but I wanted to do Breakfast Club. and I was not going to say.
That's why I went first.
I was not going to say, oh, yeah, that was the pitch I wanted to do, because that's instant points knocked against me. So I was going to wait until everything was said and done and to discuss it amongst ourselves.
I was worried that you would feel the same. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go first because of that. Not even going to risk it. Just confident about what I want.
The backup was Back to the Future. That was the one where I was like, all right, well, I'm going second. I can kind of think on the fly for this one. And I was like, what made Back to the Future was so great was the fact that it was nostalgic to the backdrop of the 50s. It made white America at the time be like, yeah, sock ups, dancing, start a rock and roll. Yeah. And it's we're going to have some of those same elements, but we're going to do it with hip hop. And it's you see the start with Kool Herc. I forgot to say New York. That's something I forgot to say, and Answer the Car. I was too busy worried about throwing in my jabs.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to bring up was an aspect of cyberbullying, which is very prevalent in today's teenagers and whatnot. But I think there's a lot of things to explore with the modern teenager, and you don't have to make a ginormous big budget movie to explore those difficult concepts, and that's kind of where I was going with.
Oh no, I dug yours, because like I said, that's what I was thinking as well. Because the cyberbullying thing would have been a great point. Man, that was a tough round.
They meet in some kind of internet chat room instead of in the library or something like that.
They'd all be in detention, and then
Zoom detention.
If you'd have had another round, you could have made it to where they're all on their phones, and the principal comes in with my jab. I'd have been the principal comes in, takes their old phones, and they're forced to communicate, thus starting them to realize they have more in common with each other than they thought. Oh man.
Yep.
I was ready for Breakfast Club.
Oh yeah, this was a heated discussion. This was a tough one to choose. And at the end of it, it looks like we're gonna have a winner. The mystery third judge chose Lynden, and Lynden is going to pick up the victory 3-1. So congrats, Lynden. That was a good pitch there at the end, but I have to say that Shamit came with some really intriguing pitches. Like some of the ones that he lost, I was, even that first round, like I said, I went with Shamit, and I mean, I think that he did a really good job of giving us some out of the box ideas. That is what this game's all about. So thanks to Shamit for playing, and Lynden, you get another win under your belt. You're going to the next round.
Look, man, this was a difficult match. I gotta thank Shamit for coming on. He is a tough competitor that when next season comes around, people are gonna have to watch out for. Like I said, I had to focus in. If y'all notice, if you're watching this YouTube, I didn't look at the camera. I didn't pay attention to Ian or Schubert. I was looking down. I had to be zeroed in this match. 0 dark 30 LeBron mode, because Shamit was that tough of a competitor. And that's my thing going into the next round. Now that the focus is off of Shamit, I'm solely focusing on Charles and his weaknesses. Charles, let me tell you, I know what you're good at and what you're not. You're good at debating. But when it comes to movies, anime, bro, that's not your bag. I'm not picking a sports question. I'm not. You better not let me win the first round, because I will not pick a sports question. I told y'all I'm going heel to face. Next season, I might be a face. This season, I'm a heel. I'm coming for the championship. But I'm zeroing in on you, Charles. Don't forget it.
All right. No,
see, how could I have competed with that? You know what I mean? Like this dude should be the favorite. If I lost to him, y'all are lucky, because y'all would have seen me in the next rounds, and y'all don't want to see me in the next round. So
that's what I'm saying. This is good.
Y'all want to see me in the next round. So, if I lost to this heavy hitter, man, y'all are in trouble. That's all I gotta say. And better watch out for this dude. And I gotta say, Lynden, you did luck out. There was no anime questions. That's two rounds in a row for me that I haven't hit up anime questions.
Bro, I haven't gotten one this entire time I've played this match.
I've been rigging this game against me. It's rigged. I know. I've seen it live. I'm gonna be back next year, and just watch out.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, Shamit, for playing. And Lynden, this was a marquee matchup.
Let Shamit tell us where you can find him on social media, and tell us about his podcast.
Yeah, y'all can find me at Fear the Brown on Twitter. And I have a podcast where I talk all Pelicans all the time with Mason Ginsberg. It's called In the Know.
One of the best.
My Twitter is mostly Pelicans and NBA based, which right now there's a lot of stuff going on that's really important to talk about. So just hit me up, and thank you for having me.
Yes, Shamit, thank you so much. And everyone check out his podcast. We're all, at
and
least
Lynden
and I are big Pelicans fans.
He did not mention his article for Bourbon Street Shots, but he just wrote an amazing article recently that you guys should definitely check out, where he talks about what we should draft for and how, we should look for and stop not making the mistakes of old. And I think that's a very important article for Pelicans fans to check out.
All right. Well, this wraps things up for PitchIt. Ian, do you have any final words before we get out of here?
Yeah, great job to both you guys. Like I say, some of those rounds could have gone either way. I do not want to see either of y'all next year when I'm in this competition, because that was a hell of a match. Just great job, guys. And Lynden, congrats on moving on. Charles, you better watch out, man, because he looks pretty focused.
I'm coming for his ass. I already know what he's doing.
This was a marquee matchup, and Lynden Charles will also be a marquee matchup. Be sure to tune in when we do that match, and also to keep listening to this episode of the Bros Who Binge, because we got some more reviews coming at you. So this is it for PitchIt, and back to Adam and Lynden on Bros Who Binge. Lynden, you did it.
I did my thing. I did my, look, if you watch the footage, not if you're listening to this, if you watched us on YouTube, you saw how zeroed in I was. I didn't look at Schubert the entire time. I didn't look at Ian. I didn't laugh at their jokes. I didn't kiki or ha-ha. I didn't do any of that. I wasn't friendly to our opponent. I zeroed in, locked in, and was going for the W. And I think I showed my strategy. Aggressive. I play aggressive. I play the game aggressive.
That's the thing that a lot of people who have played the game or are learning the game and coming into it next season are going to learn, that the digs are what counts. Like, if you can get the right dig in there, it kind of changes the whole direction of the thought process of the judges, because it puts those little inklings in their head that's like, oh, maybe that isn't a good pitch.
And the thing is, it's like we've said from the jump, the pitch is 50%. The other 50% is how you argue your pitch. Now, you could argue, be full defensive and defend your pitch and bolster your pitch. And I've seen that work. We've seen that with Luis. We've seen that, and this is no disrespect to any of the other competitors. We've seen that with Luis. We've seen that with Charles. We've seen that with different competitors. But to get the dub sack, you got to go on the offensive. You got to throw some punches. And I had to throw some. Shamit threw some too. Great match, man. Great fucking match.
Shamit definitely had some out-of-the-box pitches that I really appreciated.
He says he's going to be ready for next season. He's already talking shit to me in the DMs.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you guys were so close to getting the anime topic, and I think that's what everyone would have liked to see, the battle of you and Schmidt going into an anime topic.
I'm gonna get it. It's gonna come. It's gonna come at some.
What's gonna happen is gonna happen against Charles, and Charles better start, at least looking up like what animes are called, and because like he's gonna have to come up with like something.
He better not pitch Pokemon against whatever I'm gonna pitch, because that's gonna be an L. I'll pitch Pokemon 2 and just pitch Digimon and just pitch a better story of what he's done. I don't know, man. Look, I'm focused in. I'm zeroed in. Charles knows. I already shot him a text. I was like, bro, I'm coming for your ass. Look, hold on. I'm gonna tell y'all what I said, because I right as the match ended, I texted him. I was like, bro, I'm coming for you. Hold on. I sent him this, and then I'm gonna tell y'all what he sent me, because I think it's important that he knows. Okay, so. I tweeted. I Wednesday night, I said, don't tweet about this yet. Wait till Tuesday, but I'm coming for your ass. He sent ? I said, I'm your next opponent, bitch. He says, lol. I said, I'm going to the finals. He says, eat it. I said, I told him I talk shit at the end of the match, and I'm going to post his promo on Tuesday. And I go, you can record a response. He goes, I just want you to know I haven't tried yet. And I was like, oh, you haven't tried yet. Okay, brother. We shall see. I'm coming for your ass, Charles Reese. I'm coming for the crown. And then after I beat Charles, I'm taking it, like Kawhi Leonard said beautifully, against Luka Doncic. He's taking it one game, one day at a time. I'm not even worried about Jake Madison. I don't even know he exists. Right now, focusing on Charles. I know his weaknesses. I know his – see, that's the thing. Charles, more so than Shamit, Charles is a one-note player. More so than Shamit, Charles has this. He's dominant in sports. But when we step out of the sporting arena, can he match? Because see, the thing is, I can match his sporting, but can he match my movie, TV, and anime knowledge? I don't think so. And that's what separates me from a lot of competitors. That's why if I get to Jake, it'll be a crazy match. That's all I'm going to say about that.
And also, because your match, you brought us to our choice. You did the choice one, and we only had 4 movies left on the choice thing.
We got a new choice. Yeah, it's going to be a new choice. Got a lot of new questions.
So if that gets brought up, that's going to throw people for a loop, because I'm making that question as we speak.
It's gonna be lit, and just so people know we're not cheating. I don't know. I don't have the question sheet right now because I'm competing. I don't know what's going on. It's all Schubert and Ian running everything behind the scenes. Shout out to Ian. Ian's doing a phenomenal job. Let me just say that. Fucking love that guy. Ian has come in doing a phenomenal job hosting PitchIt. I'm gonna be interested to see how he plays next year's season, from going from behind the judge's chair to because it's different in the lights. Like you said when you did your match, after you tell me you're like, bro, I was sweating. I finished my match. I was drenched.
Yeah.
It felt like I played a sport. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? Why am I sweating?
It's a lot of pressure. Because you got, especially when you get to round 2. Like round 1, you kind of feel okay because you prepared. You
almost blew round 1, by the way.
You almost did blow round 1 because you put it a little bit too long.
But okay, can we? I thought that, that's why I didn't mind his dig at me. Like, it took him 3 rounds to get his pitch out. To me, I thought that was a positive dig, because it's like my pitch was way more detailed. Like, when Ian said he could see the movie, it's true, because I fucking painted that picture. Like, you knew 1,000% what my movie was. Where his, it was like Mike, you talking about, has nothing to do with sports. Like, what are we doing?
Which was intriguing.
But we'll talk about pitching another time. But all right. Shout out to Shamit. Glad that we had that match going. Charles, I'll see you.
So Lynden, we got back into the theater.
We did.
This movie, New Mutants, was supposed to come out years ago.
Years ago.
Yep. Finally, makes its screen debut, did it live up to the hype? Or not really hype, but did it live up to the waiting game?
That's an interesting question. No, it did not. But I liked it. I really did. Look, this movie is... I didn't see what was wrong with the movie, but I get why people wouldn't like it. Yes, there's certain characters just got shallow like characterization. Certain characters were kind of portrayed interesting ways, maybe not so like how they're supposed to be, maybe not how they were described. And certain things like the villain was like a bear at the end of the day. It was like a figment of another character's imagination.
Okay, so here's my thing. And like as you said, and I think you liked it way more than me, but I liked it and I thought it was fine. But like this is one of those things where you told me like, oh, it's short. I'm like, okay, cool. But this is one of those times where I'm like, probably should have been longer. You could have fleshed out these characters a little bit more. There was a villain that was in it, like the Essex industry.
Yeah.
And that would have been something to explore a little bit more, something to explain a little bit more.
I think that has also to do with the fact that Disney bought Fox.
Yeah.
I think this movie coming out around the time of merger was like, okay, you can use you can use the Essex name, but you're not going to use anything, like you're not going to reference Mr. Sinister by name. You're not going to do who's it about. So it was, to me, I just appreciate, and I told you this before we started, I don't know if I was more excited that we were finally back in theaters or was the movie that good. I know three things. Number one, Ileana Rasputin has to be in the MCU. Maybe not Aaron Taylor-Joy, but like, my goodness, I love Magic as a character.
I mean, I would if Anya Taylor-Joy came back and did it, I would be fine with that because she is a great actress.
And she killed it.
Like,
I loved her portrayal as Magic. She was probably one of the people who got probably some of the most characterization. Sure. That's why I connected with her. I like that character so much that I went read New Mutants after I got out because I thought Magic was a badass. Number two, Maisie Williams killed it. I thought Maisie Williams did an incredible job in this. I thought I saw the growth of an actress from Game of Thrones. Like I saw growth in her, and she made me believe this character a lot more. I loved it. Number three, I thought Cannonball's powers were cool and they looked cool, but other than that, I didn't really like the guy from Stranger Things. His accent was kind of trash. And this is where we get into my negatives. Didn't like the hospital lady. She was kind of trash. She was whatever. Didn't like the girl, Diana Moon, or Shadow Moon, whatever that girl was.
Moonstar, I think was her last name.
Danielle Moonstar, who conjured up the demon bear. Didn't like her. And I didn't like Hotspot or whatever his name is, bro. I didn't like that guy. The person
who was supposed to be Brazilian and didn't even have an accent or
who sounded like
Latino.
He looked like a California surfer.
Yeah, Henry Zaga or whatever.
Didn't like him.
He actually is born in Brazil, but his portrayal of the character did not really seem like he was from Brazil at all. So I'm just like, what the hell? And I did think that his like character had some interesting aspects, like his come up story was kind of interesting with like how he like burned up his girlfriend or stuff like that.
I thought all of them had interesting backstories, but they just didn't expound.
But they didn't play into it enough. Yeah. And like I understand like Anya Taylor-Joy, Maisie Williams, and Blue Hunt's character Danielle Moonstar were like the main focus characters, I suppose. Like, and you could even argue that Ileana Rasputin wasn't necessarily supposed to be like the main focus. It was mainly supposed to be, I feel like, Rain and Danielle, because they have like from when I was reading a post movie, like what you said, like I looked into a little bit more, is they're supposed to have like a telepathic connection, which the director decided to interpret into like a romantic
and I dug it.
Which worked for me, and I felt like it worked, and maybe people are going to have some digs about it. But I felt like that was a proper direction to take with it. And I liked, what Maisie Williams did with her character. And I felt like they did a good job.
Now that I'm looking back at it, like I was really just hype about Anya Taylor-Joy pulling out a sword and just swiping it 2 times.
But I mean, like for what it was supposed to be as a horror film, it didn't really like match up. Like I was telling Lynden about this, like, when you look back on it, there really is, and you look at the credits, right? I'm looking at like, people who were in it. There's only 6 people who were really in it. Like I felt like it could have benefited from maybe having like a throwaway character that you could killed off, or like, you know, having some kind of gore element in it where like.
And I some of the horror stuff got taken out from what I'm hearing.
Maybe that was having to do with Disney. But...
And this movie was supposed to have X-Men Apocalypse ties, but when Apocalypse didn't do well as a movie, they had to cut a lot of that. Storm was supposed to be in this movie. Professor X was supposed to be in this movie. I'm guessing this movie would have looked a lot different if Apocalypse was successful.
Yeah, it probably would have. And, you know, and I don't really necessarily blame too many people when it comes to this. Like, I felt Josh Boone, this is really like his second big director thing besides Fault in Our Stars, which, you know, Fault in Our Stars was fine as what it was. And like, I feel like this was fine as what it was. Like when it comes to giving the review, the score, like, I'm not going to like,
it's not
trash it like Rotten Tomatoes did. But I mean, I'm not going to like say that this was like one of the greatest superhero movies that I've seen. But I mean, I felt like, I almost feel like having it get delayed so long was like a disservice to it, because if it would have just came out as it was like pretty early on, like I feel like people would have appreciated it for what it was. But like now it's got like so much build up.
And and it's like the end of an era with the Fox era, and everybody's like, let's get to the MCU X-Men. So like, yeah, this movie just didn't have a lot of things going for it. But look, I'm gonna give it a solid 6.97. I enjoyed it. It was an enjoyable film.
I was gonna say a 6. Like IMDb gives it a 5.8. I feel like that's not too far off.
Yeah, I'm high. I'm high at 6.9. I'm high. I'm not gonna lie. But I something about Magic and Anya Taylor-Joy just dug it. I just dug it, especially when her little dragon was on her.
Her dragon, yeah.
Yeah, like I dug all of it. I dug the Limbo Land. I love the line when they were like, "The demons bear magic. What are you gonna do?" She's like, "Haha, bitch, I'm magic."
You know, I did think like some of the fears that Danny conjured up worked. Like I thought the burnt person in the pool was thrilling. You know, and having it, you know, having Ilana Rasputin
get scarred again, like by that priest. I thought that
by
shit
the
was crazy.
priest. The priest, you know, that was scary as well. So
the one guy who got kind of shafted was the Stranger Things guy.
Yeah. Because like his fear or whatever is just him back in the coal mine or whatever, seeing all the people that he killed.
Got shafted. I thought the demon creatures with the mask that came after Ileana was dope. I liked a lot of this movie, but just a lot of it didn't work. And I understand looking back at it, like the fight of the bear, then just having her conquer her fear and thus everything's over. Having like the lady who was in charge of them have like an early exit that wasn't really satisfying. Although I did like when Wolfbane scratched her up all crazy. Like that shit was badass.
Now, hear me out on this one. I feel like this movie would have been a good first half of a full movie. Like, and say like the second half, maybe not even a full hour, but like another 30, 40 minutes of it being like them going up against what was it, Essex or whatever, Essex Corporation, where at least like maybe you get a little bit more into what they're all about.
True. Look, I'm not mad at that. But like I said, I hope Anya Taylor-Joy comes back. I hope Maisie Williams comes back, because the MCU could use them. Like, you know, you could throw that. I don't know how you explain it, but like, you know, use them. They're pretty good. I think it's
pretty easy to explain, because they really didn't have any connection to anything.
Nothing.
So
all they did was mention X-Men once. They mentioned X-Men like twice.
Yeah, like that. We know that they're in the world.
Yeah,
which is the thing. So like, you'll say that you bring in the X-Men or whatever, and you know they didn't really like go into like how established the X-Men were. They just knew who they were,
and that's it. So like, it could be literally once the MCU's X-Men are established, you could bring these people in.
Yeah, the only issue is that since this was done so far back, is like, I don't know if Maisie Williams looks as much as she did when she was Reign, which maybe that's something that could play into. Maybe they become older and more established in their powers.
Yeah,
which
and
could be interesting
too if you bring a Colossus to the X-Men, because that's Pietro Rasputin, Ileana's brother. So like, there's a lot of ties to it. So you know,
see, like that makes like the Ilana Rasputin thing more possible, because I think they do want to bring Colossus into it.
Yep, and like that's her sister. So
So
that's something that we could see. But let's talk about something, because now you got me kind of sad, because I was really high on this movie, but maybe it was because of the theaters first time back. Maybe once
it's not like I'm not sitting here trying to trash it, because I mean it wasn't a bad.
I just don't think it was as bad as everybody was making it seem on the internet. Like the internet was really shitting on this movie.
Now, honestly, I think it's rewatchable.
Ooh.
Like I feel like if you put this on a streaming service down the line, I would watch it again.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Because it's short.
It's not long. It doesn't ask much of the viewer. It's not asking a lot of you. It's just like, just sit here, watch Ileana Rasputin be cool, watch Rain be cool, and watch this teen angst. It's a bunch of teen angst. Sure. And I'm cool with it. It's not like CW melodrama and teen angst. At least this teen angst comes with like some fuck you and some you're a bitch. Like, and a lot of racist jokes from Ileana Rasputin.
Oh yeah. Yeah, against Native Americans.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, fuck yeah.
But like in comparison to like the Fox universe, like I would watch this over a lot of the X-Men stuff that's been put out, like Apocalypse or Dark Phoenix or OG X-Men,
Last Stand.
Like Last Stand.
I'd watch it over X-Men 1. Maybe not X-Men 2, because X-Men 2 is pretty cool. X2 is good. Not First Class is phenomenal. Days of Future
First Class and Days of Future Past are up there with MCU films. Like,
I might watch this over Deadpool or Deadpool 2.
That's you.
That's me, yeah. Deadpool 2 I like. Deadpool 1, not so much.
Which is blasphemy for a lot of Deadpool fans.
And Logan's a masterpiece, so none on that. But let's get to Lovecraft, which was absolutely
a good bit of horror.
Absolutely nuts.
Scared the shit out of me a little bit.
Letitia Lewis is becoming one of my favorite characters, man. Letitia fucking Lewis. She's kicking ass and taking names. Yo, okay, I don't even know where to start with this. So it literally, this show makes it seem like each episode is this different vignette of like horror and story while we slowly unfold.
Now this was the first
story.
time like I felt like they did a good job of tying everything. Like that was one of the things. Like I did feel like that vignette thing for like half the thing, and then once we got to the end, and then especially the very end, I was like, oh, so this is how this is all tying together.
And I'm glad they did that too, because like the ending with Tick and the white girl, I don't know her name. She even called herself the white girl this time, like you don't kill a white woman. And
don't be killing random white women.
Look, when she undid the blinds, I was like, ooh, this is a dangerous bitch. Like, shit, Tick, you're a clown. And like all the thing where she was telling like her dad's power, and I was like, well, damn, what's her power? Can she stop
Christina Braithwaite?
Can Christina Braithwaite stop people from like doing things? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So this episode starts off, Letitia Lewis is buying a house for her family. She thinks it's like inheritance from her mom. So she wants to have as like this boarding house for colored people to come and live, for black people to come and live and whatnot. And like, so this house is haunted. There was this guy performing like weird human experiments.
I mean, I think we're even getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So like, they're back from this experience. They're not telling anyone, Uncle George is dead. Like
they just
Tick
told
is
him
living in the house.
They said a sheriff shot him.
Yeah, and then they shot the sheriff.
Yeah, and they shot the sheriff, and like the wife feels like a little on edge about it. The wife feels like they're lying about something.
Oh, and is also kind of mad at Tick too, because like she probably feels like he has a bit to do with this. He's not telling her the whole story. He's living in her house trying to like fill in a role, and she's a little bit fed up about it. But then
I was just like, are you sure? Like, you tripping, lady?
I feel like she would be a little suspect about it all, but
Yeah, like like Michael K. Williams said, what are they supposed to tell her? Like, oh yeah, these wizards exist. Like,
right?
Like, what the fuck are they supposed to say? Like, I feel like that story's a lot better explainable than what the real truth is. Like,
sure.
like they say in that, I forget what movie that is, the Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise movie where Tom Cruise is a lawyer. You can't handle the truth. Like, bitch, you can't handle that truth. You don't want to know that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then we get to like Letitia, like you said, she buys that boarding house with her sister. Kind of.
And she's getting pissed more and more.
With this inheritance money that we come to find is given from the Braithwaites.
Yeah, given from the slave owner family. That's Tick's relatives.
Yeah.
Tick's white's cousins. That's what we're gonna call them.
The white cousins.
Yeah, Tick's white cousins, because that's what they are. Tick's white cousins. So And then so they're doing this shit, taking her and Letitia are having like this. I haven't talked to you since the funeral. I know shit's crazy. Like, how we doing this? Tick's still thinking about his spoogie in Korea. Like, I got my lady in Korea, but I don't know if I really want to mess with her, if I want to be with Letitia. And then, like, these white people are causing ruckus in the neighborhood, saying, like, we don't want you Negroes to live by us, posting.
Blaring
like,
the horns.
Talk about an annoying thing to do to somebody. Letitia was good because I'd have took those bricks off those horns. Bro, how could she sleep? How could she sleep, bro? That was a lie.
It was wild.
It was just like, damn. Feel for black people.
And then when Tick was like, yeah, this is the same tactics that we used in Korea, I was like, damn, like these people,
they're just doing the most.
Bringing the war stuff out here on these people. Like,
doing the most, bro. And then a lot of moments in this where it shows the horror, like when Letitia's first waking up after hearing after the night of being in her house, and we see like hands slowly start to move the blankets, and it's just showing how this house is haunted. We see like
the elevator almost takes her damn head off.
Yeah, the first time we see in the background, we see like black people with like one lady had her boobs cut off, and like one dude had pipes coming through his bodies. We're seeing that in the background and shit. And then like so they have this party. They end up the white people in the neighborhood end up putting a burning cross in the yard. They all come out with their guns and they're like, we're about to. Then Letitia comes out with a bat. She starts breaking up all the windows, taking all the horns off. The cops come and arrest her, and this cop's like, what do you know about this haunted house? Being like a creepy cop, and like they start bringing the car around. I was like, damn, you didn't have to do that to that lady. Like if that was a dude, sure, but like a lady, like you had to bang her around in the car, and like she could have died from that. I was just like, damn, feel for you, Letitia. Sad times at Ridgemont High. And then so
racist shit, man.
Super racist shit. So then she finds out that the house is haunted, has connections to this guy, Epstein.
No, I mean, like, I think it was a whole crazy thing because she finds out that, this Epstein guy has been doing the thing. She finds out that cop has had connections to the Epstein guy and was pulling, like,
strings,
pulling missing persons.
How did you feel?
Out of the south side of Chicago for him to do experiments on them.
How did you feel when it was a guy named Epstein in the law pulling kids out of the street to experiment on? My girlfriend literally stopped what she was doing and was like, Epstein. And I was like, oh yeah, no, this is pretty wild. Was that on the nose? Was like, am I reaching?
I mean, I feel like they probably just like came up with the name or whatever, but like it works. It works.
It works really well. But anyway, I digress from that. But
the one thing that we didn't mention in that party that was kind of crazy was the Ouija board scene. Ooh,
the biggest are we sure? Let me just say this as a black person and someone from the black community. We're not touching a fucking Ouija board, dog. I'm sorry. That's not happening. First off, like,
where'd they get it?
For that. Secondly, as a black person having white friends, I have been in a house where my white friends were messing with a Ouija board, and I was like, no, I'm good. Then all of a sudden the lights went out. You know what I did? I left. I was like, I'm good.
I'm out.
Like, I'm not bullshitting y'all. America, I'm not bullshitting. This is the truth. Black people don't fuck with that, bro. Why? Like, there's a chance it could be real. Why fuck with that? So I didn't buy it. And also, where did the kids go? Because we don't see them at the end of the episode. That's another thing.
That's true.
Don't know where the fuck they went. Like, D is gone. D is missing.
Disappeared.
It disappeared. And so, whatever. So then they call.
And then old Tick, pops a homegirl's cherry.
Yeah, see, my girlfriend was like, she was on her period, and I was like, I don't know. When you watched it, how'd you feel? What'd you think?
I didn't think she was on her period because like when he leaves or whatever, and she's
her
like
face,
she's like, oh my god.
I said the whole time, I was like, she lost her virginity. My girlfriend was like, no, that's her period. And then when she said it, my girlfriend was like, see, told you. And then I was like, I don't know. And she was like, but I was like, maybe girls know, whatever. And then when it came out that she lost her cherry, I was like, told you. I knew that's what happened. Tick took her virginity, old dog, slimy dog ass. But that just shows.
But see, it was very suspect because like that homie came up to him and was like, yeah, I used to like roll around with her in high school. And I'm just like, so
he was lying. Bros were
he was lying.
He was lying to get into the coochie. But Letitia is not what they portray her to be. They portray her to be this scandalous fuck up. But that's not what she was doing. At least maybe that's not like they'd always think like she was fucking up her life, maybe fucking around. I want to know what she was doing in that time when she was away from her family.
Well, they said that she was out helping people for the cause. You know what I'm saying? Like she was out doing civil rights stuff.
True. I just wanted. I feel like there's more to that story.
Were they talking about Martin Luther King?
Who? When?
In the party, they were like, "Yeah, there's this dude out, the preacher. He used to be called Michael. Now he's calling himself Martin, and he was gonna marry the white lady."
Oh, they might have been. I need to go rewatch that. They might have been. I need to go. Yeah, good. That if that is the case, that's a good call. But also, then another. Are we sure? I don't know. At least I don't know any black people that would allow that woman to cut that goat on their porch and then took the goat's blood and put an X on their head. That ain't happening, dog.
I don't know. I believe that, but I don't know. I'm not a black person, so I don't know. But I mean, like, because I felt like this was like that Creole juju. Like, are we sure that there ain't people down in Louisiana who ain't?
Oh, that would do that? Yeah, probably so. I just know I wouldn't. That fuck, move, fucking move. You still got money, fucking move. It's not worth it. But she was trying to free the souls of the innocent black folk who died in that house. So look, I feel it. They end up
because you had that dark room scene where she puts the pictures together and that dude's face comes up, and that was supposed to be Epstein, I suppose.
Yeah. And then, like, they go down, and then, like, these white dudes break into the house and start messing up the seance. They end up dying.
Well, they didn't mess up the seance. They were just going up in there trying to beat the shit out of whoever was up in there, and then they found themselves getting killed.
Yep. And the worst death was when the elevator chopped that dude's head off, and I was like, ooh, decapitation. Ooh. And then their bodies magically vanish, but we'll talk about that a little later. And then so the seance. The seance happens. The voodoo lady gets hooked, but then she gets let go, and then Tick gets hooked. Get out of my fucking house, bitch! Get out of my fucking house, bitch! And it was just like, oh shit! And then Letitia calls upon the black souls to get them out. They get them out, bro. After they got all that out, didn't she look like she lost 50 pounds? Me and my girlfriend was like, damn, she looks bad right now. Like, you just went through the ringer. Like,
she looked real bad.
she looked like that took some years off her life. But granted, would have took years off mine too. Like, they just went through, just think about that. Like I said after that, how do they move on and live? But for real, you just went through 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks max, maybe 3 weeks. Oh no, a month ago, because it was 3 weeks from the funeral. A month ago, you just saw vampire cow monsters destroy humans. Then you see the guy you're banging. The guy you're banging is a descendant of a slave who tried to be a wizard, or a slave master who tried to be a wizard to get to the tree of Adam, thus killing you and the uncle of the guy you're banging. Then the guy you're banging gets his, I guess, white cousin to bring you back to life. And then the white cousin and the whole house, they all die. You dip out. Then you get a new house from an inheritance from your mom, which is low-key the white cousin, who then buys this house, who's a descendant of one of the people from the rival clan of the white cousin's family. And you deal with this whole haunted house shit, and it's just like, yo, how do you live? Like, it's like, I feel for these people, man. It's been a rough month and a half.
Since she was brought back to life from them, I'm thinking like she has like this newfound, I wouldn't say power, but like she's more attuned to like the supernatural world.
I can
now that she's gone through that and had, the death and all that. So, that's why I think that she kind of spearheaded the whole movement. But, as the show ended with Tick trying to kill his, white cousin and not being able to, I think like the whole deal, what she was explaining was that her family's power is invulnerability, and so like he couldn't shoot her because like at the end of the day she's invulnerable. So like it wouldn't have done anything, so like it just stopped it.
But that means Tick has those powers too, though.
He just has to find a way to
access them. Also, it might be under that tunnel where all those people were, because they said the guy Herman, whatever his name, Herman Epstein, was trying to get to the powers of Adam too. And we saw when the elevator was going down where all those white kids' bodies were that disappeared. They had all those writings on the wall and shit, like going down to the cave. So
now what I'm trying to figure out is like, did some like supernatural force put the bodies down there, or did Letitia just like put the bodies down there and not tell nobody? Because like the reporter lady asked her, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't know about any disappearances." So I'm wondering if she's lying, or if like what that's all about.
Can we be honest? That's an "are we sure?" I'm gonna let the show get away with it, but that's an "are we sure?" You're telling me in the 60s, if this black house, if this black family and all these black people lived in a house next door to 3 white people, and the 3 white people disappeared, there ain't no way the police ain't busting down there and checking everything. There's no way.
Facts.
There's no
I was
way.
thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, how the hell are they not like busted up?
How they not in jail? No way. But I'll allow it if they explain it to where the white cousin took care of everything. Then I could believe it, because that white lady has power. That's the only way I buy it.
That's fair.
And maybe that's why the white lady was buying off the realtor to get him to dip out. So there's no history of like her ever doing anything, you know? I don't know. That's the only way I'd believe it. But I was just like, are we sure? Like, Tick would have been in jail. Letitia was in jail. Like, the white kids clearly were at their house, came to your house, and now they're no more? And you're telling me their parents don't want retribution? Are we sure?
Yeah, so I'm interested.
But the horror aspects was good. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. The gore, the exorcism, the fucking all the jump scares, everything that they put into this. Shout out to Misha Green, shout out to Jordan Peele, shout out to J.J. Abrams. They're keeping me on my toes each week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. I thought this was the best episode to date.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know where they go from here. I saw the preview and I was just like,
yeah, I'll read the synopsis for people. After Christina mysteriously shows up at her doorstep, Letty confronts Tick about his plan to return to Florida. Later, in search of missing pages to the crucial text, Letty, Tick, and Montrose head to Boston with Hippolyta and Diana along for the ride. Back in Chicago, a handsome stranger nurses Rudy's disappointment over a squandered job opportunity. Man, so who's this handsome stranger?
Is that the white guy? Maybe. I don't know, but Hippolyta shouldn't get. If I was Hippolyta, you got a chance, lady. Life is giving you a chance to say, you know what? My husband's family is kind of crazy. I'm not fucking with Tick. I'm not fucking with Montrose. I'm not fucking with none of these people no more. I'm taking my daughter and we're going to live somewhere else because crazy shit keeps happening and she might die. I can see Hippolyta maybe dying or coming or somebody gonna die soon. It's not gonna be Michael K. Williams, Tick, or Letitia.
Maybe Ruby.
Maybe Ruby. Ooh, that would be good to Letitia's story.
So as you know, as we finish up here, programming note moving forward, this show is going to end 2 weeks after The Boys ends. So we're going to be talking about Lovecraft Country and The Boys at the same time for the next month.
Oh man, it's going to be and the Avatar rewatch. I know people are like, "Damn, when y'all are almost done." We gotta wait. 3. We're on book 3. We're just waiting to start. And
you know, honestly, Korra came out on Netflix, so people probably want to hear us talk about that.
Honestly, we're gonna start book 3 probably after next week, just because next week has Tenet, The Boys, and
Lovecraft,
and Lovecraft. Those are 3. We try to keep it to 3. So then the week after Tenet, it'll probably be Avatar, Lovecraft, and The Boys.
Probably yes.
Yeah. So Avatar in 2 weeks, but that'll give us some time because like book 3 is a big book, and we got to dive deep into book 3.
And the one thing I'm really interested in is, we got New Mutants that came out, and, we're going to get Tenet.
What's next?
Yeah, when are they spitting this stuff out? Because they put another Wonder Woman trailer in my showing of New Mutants today, and I'm like, put this shit out.
Yeah, Dune too.
Well, Dune we know is coming in December.
Christmas. Hopefully it follows through. But yeah, man, solid episode this week, brother. The 100th.
100th episode, the comeback of movies on the Bros Who Binge as the theaters are open again. At your own risk.
Yeah, definitely at your own risk. But
so, we are neither telling people that you should. We're just telling you that it is available
and that we're doing it,
and that we have gone out there and that they are putting precautions there. But at your own risk, I'm not telling you to go do it if you don't feel safe.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. Do what you feel is best for you. But like I said, if y'all can go eat out at a restaurant, I should be able to go to a movie.
Fair.
And if I'm not gonna say the other one that me and Schubert talked about in pre-pro, but Schubert knows how I feel as well. Like there could be gatherings of thousands of people outside doing certain events. Why can't I go to a movie? You know, granted.
And football.
Yeah, football's gonna have fans. I don't feel okay about that. That I don't feel okay about. I would never.
I mean,
go.
I would feel more okay about the open air stadiums than I would like the Superdome.
Yeah.
But Thursday of this week in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, 9,000 people are able to go to that game against South Alabama and Southern Miss. So I don't know if 9,000 people are going to show up to a Southern Miss South Alabama game on a Thursday night, because why would you?
That's crazy.
But it's available.
We're going to see how that goes. The South, man. Interesting. But yeah, 100th episode, Charles, I'm coming for your ass. You guys can follow me at LynBWT. Follow the Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think. Be sure to check out the Goodfellas Run It Back. Super, super dope episode. We broke down Goodfellas to a T. I bet you didn't know Tom Cruise was up for the role of Henry Hill. Come find out about more of that on the episode. We talk about a lot of good stuff. And I'm going to put the poll up for the Martin scores for the Quentin Tarantino film we should do next. That's coming up. Also, by the time you guys hear this, Anime Talk will be out tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that, as well as the Bros Who Think podcast coming on Thursday. But you can find all that information at Bros Who Think on Twitter. Follow us and subscribe on YouTube, because we got a lot of YouTube exclusive content coming. But subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. And thank you. 100 episodes. Thank you for sticking with us. We're going to make sure the next 100 are just as good, if not better. Plus, we got some surprises coming in the upcoming weeks. I know we don't talk about it, but yeah, we got some shit coming. So just be on the lookout.
I feel like 100 turns a corner for us. We're coming into a new phase of this now, getting onto the video. It's just going to get better. My setup is going to get better here in the coming months. And it's going to be really cool. We're going to try and get back into the interviews. We're going to get back into reviewing movies. And it's going to be fun. And we're definitely excited to bring it to you, PitchIt as well.
Y'all held it down during the dark times. Like, shit's getting better now. The last couple of months, we made it work somehow. Somehow, it worked where TV shows and VODs
TV was doing us a solid with some of the stuff that they released. Thank God for Netflix in some of those cases. Like, they were putting out content like
Old Guard. Project.
Old Guard, even though Extraction sucked, we had something to talk about. Tiger King.
Yeah. Oh, that was an era. that was a moment.
So HBO Max ended up coming out during this period. So a lot of good.
Now we're in the good times.
Yeah. So now we're in the good times, and appreciate everyone listening in for. If you've listened to all 100, that's great. If you're just joining us now that we've moved to video, that's great. You're coming in at a good time. Make sure you check out everything that's going on with the Bros Who Think Network. Go back and watch some of our old PitchIt matches as well. But definitely keep track with us and what we're doing. And for myself, Adam Schubert, Lynden Burton, Shamit Dua, Ian Hawley.
Yeah, Ian.
Thank you to everyone who was part of this week's episode. And as always, stay safe and keep binging.